Welcome to The Backlash, a weekly discussion about America's awakening. I am your host, Rebecca Hargraves, joined as always by Mr. Dave Riley. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. It's a beautiful
Actually
day.
not. It's been crazy.
Yeah, I'm not doing well either. I don't know why I said that.
My kid cut her toe outside. I felt really bad. I was all thrown all over the place, and now we're here. So anyway.
We're happy to be here. How are you, Cameron McGregor?
Good evening to one and all.
And with a special guest in studio, Internet OG, LP, Mr. Hypocrite. How are you doing?
Hello, everyone. Pleasure to be here.
Crazy, right? He's huge. Look at this.
He's massive.
I've met a lot of people from the internet in real life. They're always shorter and fatter, but he is taller and skinnier than I expected.
That's
The
amazing.
skinny thing is so nice. People keep telling me I'm fat in my comment
Bastards.
section. I know.
We were just talking shit on our audiences and how we hate all of you. No, just some of you. You can find us on X at Real Backlash, our website, thebacklash.net. Support us on subscribestar.com/thebacklash, patreon.com/thebacklash. We'll come with some exclusives there pretty soon. You can super chat at thebacklash.net/super chat. Also on my YouTube channel. Shocking. Also on the Backlash's YouTube channel. There's so many ways to send us money.
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
It's just a shame that we're like, poor.
Yeah. And as a result of being poor, we are only going to read $10 and up to incentivize you to send more money.
Please.
Thank
you. And you can do that at thebacklash.net/super chat. Did you already say that?
Yes, I did,
Okay.
Dave.
Just making sure that we're getting all the bases covered.
Follow us on our YouTube channel at Real Backlash, Rumble, Backlash Podcast, Instagram, Real.Backlash, and TikTok.
They're all here on the website. You
at
can
Backlash Pod.
Just go to it like boom.
Yeah, and just
One link.
Boom, boom, boom.
There's
Find
our
us everywhere.
TikTok. It's amazing.
Thanks for joining us today. A big thanks to our sponsors, Atlas Bullion, premier dealers of gold and silver, North Idaho Tallow, that is skincare without endocrine disruptors, and Antelope Hill, the people that will publish literally anything. Let's do some bants. Why don't you promo this this disruptive meeting you're planning?
Oh yeah, well it's not going to be a disruptive meeting. It's just we had this big interview on Monday with Pacific Northwest Gorilla, and I've just been inspired by him. He's been doing all of these like nature hikes and going out camping and getting a community built of people close by, building community. It's a good thing. And so I figured we should do something similar. And so we're going to be hosting a little get-together next Monday. This coming Monday, like 5 o'clock p.m., 5:15, somewhere around there, 5:15 p.m. at the Prairie Pavilion here in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. It's amazing. They've got like food trucks. There's like taco trucks and like a pizza stand. You can get like sandwiches. And it's a nice little spot where we can all get together, get a beer, hang out, chill, talk. So that'll be Monday, this coming Monday at 5 o'clock.
Nice. Okay.
And we'll be there until until we leave.
I'm going against my better judgment.
It'll be fun.
Okay. Please don't murder us.
Dave does conceal carry. He showed me yesterday, so no funny business, you guys.
True.
Hey, Dave, what happened to the Elton John glasses? I'm kind of
know.
disappointed.
Well,
Did they bully you out of
No,
that?
they didn't. I mean,
Listen, to Dave's credit, he cannot be bullied out of any bad behavior. I've tried to do it. It's impossible.
Obstinate.
He's obstinate. That is exactly the word.
defiant,
Yes.
impetuous.
Yes.
That was the
Yes.
word that a certain bishop said about me. He's like, he's impetuous.
That is correct.
I'm like, okay.
That is one astute
And he's like,
motherfucker.
no, not bad. Like Peter. Peter was impetuous.
yes, yeah.
And I'm like,
I didn't
great.
know you had them right there. It's
Oh no, you asked for it. You got it.
So LP, why don't you give the audience a little bit of intro into your channel if they're unfamiliar with you? Tell them what you do. You've been around just forever.
I started making content about 10 years ago. I was telling Dave, I was like a pothead atheist, liberal, basically. Grew up in Canada, kind of a typical Canadian. And then started watching Sargon of Akkad videos and got radicalized. Here we are 10 years later, and I'm basically a far-right Christo-fascist, authoritarian, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that's how it happens.
Based.
The Alternative Influence Network was talking about the libertarian to fascist pipeline, and everybody on the right was like, no, that's not real. I'm like, what are you talking about? That 100% is real.
Absolutely real.
Yeah.
You're a libertarian until you realize that they won't leave you alone.
Yes.
And once that sinks in and you figure that part out, then you become us.
Yes.
It do be like that.
It do be like that, Mr. Stansel.
Yes,
What
yes.
what part of Canada are you from?
I grew up in Swift Current, Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan.
We all
Okay.
know exactly where that
It
is.
was like a small town and very boring, and everyone drank and smoked pot. And
Sounds very Canadian.
Yeah.
I was expecting your head to be detached from the lower part.
Yeah.
Like the South Park people.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but it's attached.
Yeah, that part's fake. We do say a boot, though,
I know.
as you pointed out.
A boot.
We just
E.
laughed at you. I don't know what it is about Canadians, the urge to make fun of them.
I'm sorry.
It just lives within us as
Yeah.
Americans.
Yeah.
Although you're
he's
American.
I'm
I'm
a
American
dual-
now.
American.
I'm
This is the
American.
first time we've got a dual citizen on the program. Not sure how I feel about that.
Guys, we need to send more support to Canada.
Yeah, really.
We have our brothers up there. They're not doing so good. I am a Canadian citizen now. I got my passport's in the mail. I just finished the application for that.
American
And
citizen.
Yeah. Sorry, American
Sorry.
citizen. My American. Never beating the allegations.
I know.
Bro.
Is it true that you're in Mensa?
That is true. That is true.
Well, what is your IQ?
Exactly 132, which is the bare minimum to get into.
Wait, I thought it was 145.
I thought it was
No.
135.
No, it's 132.
So I could make it.
Yeah.
I'm 133.
Oh, you could make
No,
it.
you were
yeah.
133 before you started using drugs.
Well, listen, it's been a long time. My neurons have regenerated. It's been like over a decade.
No.
No?
No.
I'm permanently...
I'm permanently retarded
Retarded?
from alcoholism, so I would imagine that I'm in the 120s now.
Well, I've got a lot of
You know,
friends in Mensa.
Cameron will never tell us if he did get an IQ
He
test.
keeps like trying to like gas us up. He's
Yeah.
like, "Oh no, you guys are so smart." I don't know. I doubt this.
I know what you're doing, but there's no way Cameron's IQ is sub 140. I just don't believe it.
Both you guys are smarter than me.
No.
No question about it.
There's just no. There's
Press X
absolutely
to
no.
doubt.
Yeah, seriously.
Press X to doubt.
Syntax is not IQ.
Yeah, but you have an excellent memory. That's IQ.
maybe it's a proxy, but but IQ isn't everything, right?
True.
Obviously, I'm the only one on the group that hasn't done drugs and tried to sell drugs in some alley somewhere. So obviously,
he's
IQ
so
isn't
humble.
everything.
He's like, oh, having a high IQ and being good looking and being an international playboy, it's not all it's cracked up to be. Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. It's your life, your lives, you Idaho losers. And this
Well,
guy.
I have never claimed that I would rather be an indoor cat like Dave and live in Coeur d'Alene. That is a bridge too far.
Listen,
No.
I got to tell you, it's nice. You can curl up on the couch in the sun,
can, yeah.
be warm.
Totally.
Until, you get a couple of kids that start jumping up and down on your chest. And
Or then you
it's
can
like,
scratch
oh,
him.
okay.
Cat.
No.
Like an indoor cat.
No, you can't do that.
Very few things on this earth scare me more than domesticity.
It's not so bad.
I want to thank all of you wonderful people that tuned in yesterday. I did a little special show. We did an interview. I did an interview, the Royal We. I did an interview with J.D. Hall. He's an author and a polemicist, and he's like a theologian type, and it was very well received. I'm very surprised with how much the chat loves to dump on me all the time.
Well,
So it was good. It
I think
was
it's good for
nice.
the channel
Everybody was
when you
very
do
positive.
your
So if you could please go and
niche
leave
stuff.
some negative comments on the video, that would be much appreciated. It would make me feel better about myself.
yeah, give Dave
Yeah.
more self-worth, please.
If you guys haven't seen that, so I had the privilege of watching it this morning. Actually, I think it's one of the best videos we put out on this channel. So
Look
if
at
you have
that.
not seen that interview, you absolutely need to watch it. I learned a great deal. I thought your guest was excellent too, Dave.
Yeah, really smart guy, knows his stuff. He's been doing
Yep.
that for years. And it was great too, because it was, I'm Catholic, he was Protestant. And so for the two of us to be able to get together and speak the same language and kind of deconstruct dispensational Christian Zionism and get to the
Yeah.
heart of the matter, where it started, why it started, what they believe, and
Wait,
how
you
we
don't
can
want to
debunk
put
it.
Protestants against the wall anymore?
No, it's a gradual process, okay? We want the Christian evangelical Zionists to leave that and literally do anything else which is better than that. So if you
Okay.
want to go from evangelical Zionism to being a Baptist,
Cool.
that's fine. This works out much. At least we can agree on hey, local issues are important. Who's running for mayor, all these types of things, as opposed to if you don't support the ethno-state in Israel and you don't think that the end times are right now, then you're an anti-Semite heretic, blah, blah, So, it's good. I want them to back away from the Zionism.
You're a better person than I am.
We got to do what we can with what we got.
Wait, so you want to kill the prots?
Well, this is why women can't be in charge. If I were in
so
charge,
true.
I'd be like, oh, you're Protestant, Jewish, a minority, any number of things.
Hey, we gotta wait 10 minutes. We've got to be streaming for
You
10
don't
minutes
like
before we
Tears for
start going down
Fears.
this.
You don't like Tears for Fears, Face the Wall. I would be killing people for arbitrary reasons.
Would Tears for Fears or Depeche Mode be the litmus test?
Fine. Okay. Yeah, whatever.
Okay, that's fair.
And if you don't, face the wall. Let's get on with the show, folks.
Very important things to talk about tonight.
We're going to be talking Matt Walsh v. Ben Shapiro, Ireland, DBT shutting down, Venezuela. Let's get into this Matt Walsh thing. I know this was 6 days ago. I hate it when a big news story breaks 6 days before the show, because it seems like it's old news by the time we get to it. But I had to talk about this because I think Matt Walsh was speaking to us in Morse code with his blinking.
It's possible.
Daily Wire's Ben Shapiro, whether he realized it or not, torched his colleague's weird idea that conservatives must unify with the far right on Thursday. Shapiro reacted to a bombshell Politico story. And he said, if you put that stuff online, if you put that stuff in chats, if you actually authentically think that stuff, first of all, you're wrong. But second of all, if you put that stuff online, there's social consequences to saying and believing truly terrible things. We all have social lines drawn all the time. He also said, there's this weird idea on the right that the left wins because they're totally unified and they're completely siding with one another. The left is not winning. I know we are sort of depressive on the right. We've gotten addicted to the depressive. The left is not winning. Donald Trump is president 2 times. Republicans are in control of the Senate, are in control of the House. Republicans are in control of the majority of the governor's mansions. They're in control of the majority of the state legislators. The left is not winning because of their unity. So I think that actually we should watch these clips before we talk about Matt Walsh saying he doesn't want to punch right. Let's watch 2 and then 3. Thank you, Dave.
disagreeing with the motivations of the Politico story. In fact, even on my show today, I talked about the motivations of the Politico story, which, Matt, I agree, are completely scurrilous and designed to distract from the sort of violent rhetoric we've seen from the left. But it has led to, I think, a reactionary response on some parts of the right to say there should be no policing ever at all. No social consequences should ever attend to things that are said on the right, that it's basically just pure my side versus your side. The problem I have is, number one, I think that's immoral, and number two, I don't think that's pragmatic. I don't think that's moral, because I think that there are things that get said on the right that are really, really, really ugly, and pretending those away doesn't make them go away. I think that they're rising. I think that they're getting more common. I know that my death threats from that side are getting more common. I know I have more security because of that, and it's not just from the left. I have lots of security from the left, and I also get lots of security from the right. Matt, I think a little bit earlier today you tweeted that kind of your litmus test is the people who are trying to kill you, and I totally get that. I also have that litmus test. The difference is that I think that if somebody tries to kill you, Matt, there's a good shot that it's going to be a leftist. If somebody tries to kill me, it's a frickin' Agatha Christie novel. I just don't know which direction the bullet is coming from at this point, given the sort of various and sundry radical extremes that exist. I'm not going to say that the right is equivalent to the left in this respect, because I don't think it's been mainstreamed to nearly the same effect on the right that it has been on the left. But to pretend that it has not infiltrated a lot of very important spaces, I think is sort of whistling past the graveyard.
Okay, what speech is he talking about? He's being so vague. Obviously, he's talking exclusively about what he perceives as anti-Semitic speech. Let's play 3 from 107 onward, please. And he's not going to say that, of course.
No. From 107 onward.
Yeah, this clip was long.
Okay, we can do that. Let's see.
I thought that what you said when Charlie died was right. You know, that one of Charlie's goals was to keep the movement together. It's obviously something JD is trying to do. He's trying to keep people in the room together. I totally get it. I've talked publicly about the fact that Tucker called me that day, 2 days after Charlie was shot, and said, like, let's stop fighting. And I said, you know what? That sounds great to me. That's fine. I really don't want to be fighting with you, because obviously we have other priorities. In fact, I even offered Tucker that we should get on stage together and talk about the things that we agreed with. He's yet to take me up on that offer. But the bottom line here is that, you know, when it comes to where you set limits at some point are going to have to be set. And it seems to me that the move on the right is that because we don't like the left at all, because the left is bad, there must be no limit set. And any attempt to set a limit is somehow firing inside the tent. And what this actually leads to is many of the same people who are firing inside the tent then turning around and claiming that you're violating the truce. Because I'll tell you what, it's Nick Fuentes who's attacking Donald Trump on a regular basis. Yeah. It is Alex Jones who's attacking Donald Trump on a regular basis. I mean, it is Tucker Carlson who's attacking Donald Trump on a fairly regular basis, actually.
This is this is so shifty. This is such shifty Jew nonsense to act like he's not talking about anti-Semitism. He's talking about people that are going against Donald Trump. That's really what you mean. So Matt Walsh tweeted this. It was obviously a response to Ben Shapiro, but because they so closely work together, he's not going to say that. During the gender ideology fight, I made it clear that I would happily align with liberal feminists who hate my guts for the purpose of defeating transgenderism. They mostly declined that invitation and turned around and disavowed me instead, which I expected, but the invitation was sincere. I will work with anyone to defeat an evil. This has always been my stance. When it comes to fighting the left and defeating the people who want to kill me and my family and piss on my grave, I will unite with anyone on the right, even those I don't like and those who don't like me. If you think this is unprincipled and morally compromised, then you simply don't understand how to fight and win a battle. A fractured conservative movement will fail. Only a united front can succeed. If you reject this invitation, just as the feminists did, that's fine. It's your right. I won't be the first. I've reached out my hand and gotten a hearty fuck you in response. This doesn't hurt my feelings. It's what I care about. Okay, so he's obviously responding to Ben Shapiro here, but I think that they both have missed the point. Ben Shapiro is right, using his high rhetorical IQ, in that obviously there are going to be some limits on speech in general. But what Matt is saying is that he's not going to disavow the anti-Semitic right. And they're both kind of talking, we all know what they're talking about, but they're talking past each other.
Sure.
And I think this spells...
Intentionally. Matt is intentionally talking past Shapiro.
Right.
Yeah.
I think this spells trouble for the Daily Wire, which was already in dire straits. And I cannot imagine, if this is what we're seeing pop up on panels, can you imagine what's going on behind the scenes there?
I can imagine some like very nasally screams coming from like the office at the headquarters of Daily Wire. What do you mean he's doing what? You know,
I know.
Screaming and
What do you guys think? Does this mark the end of the Daily Wire and more broadly, media conglomerates with Jews at the helm who are not addressing anything serious? Hey, LP.
Oh,
I think the elephant in the room here is Fuentes. Maybe not the elephant because Shapiro did mention him, but I think that's the reason Shapiro is so nervous is because they've kept Fuentes away from the table for so long by saying he's a troll. Charlie Kirk said this, I don't talk to trolls. He's like anti-Semite this. Imagine Matt Walsh and Nick sit down. If you watch Nick talk, he's a very convincing guy. Like he's going to sit there and just say all these things that Matt Walsh will just have to agree with because they're so reasonable. And this is like Ben Shapiro's greatest fear, his like biggest nightmare. It was Charlie Kirk's biggest nightmare while he was alive, like how do I not do this? And it was easier to do it before Nick's getting invited on Tim Pool and all these other shows. So I do think things are coming to a head. I do think Daily Wire's in trouble. Maybe their like movie making business can still be profitable, but I think in general people are getting tired of listening to people like Shapiro and other people who carry water for those guys.
Yeah.
oh, for sure.
Cameron, what do you think?
What struck me immediately, well, I guess I should preface by saying I just have an allergic reaction every time I listen to Ben Shapiro talk.
You and I both, friend.
It's just, it's truly unimaginable how that man ascended. But I guess it's not. He has organized Jewish power behind him. So, surprise, surprise. What struck me, I guess, is how irrelevant these people are. Even the language that they're using. It's very obvious that, well, certainly it is to us because we're sort of on the margin of things, and that tends to liberate you, right? You can see things as they are. You don't have to exist in some kind of false binary. But their language is so anachronistic. I mean, what was it that Matt Walsh said? I will unify with anybody against the evil of transgenderism. Yeah, I think we moved beyond that, right? We have bigger fish to fry, folks. We have a government that's flailing out of control. We have race war unfolding in major streets across the United States. We have the mass mobilization of nationalism across the Western world. So we're just beginning to leave the station here, and I think there's panic. Certainly there is among people like Ben Shapiro because they've lost control, right? We've talked about this for months, really since the inception of the program. Basically, monopoly on social media or of the media industrial complex has completely turned over. And so now a lot of the ideas that were taboo, it's not that they're being discussed, it's that they're becoming mainstream and they're gaining political mobilization. And that's only going to accelerate in the next, I would say, 90 to 180 days and well beyond that. So they're panicking. They don't really know what to do, and so they're trying to draw lines in the sand. And that's what all people do when things sort of escape them. They're going to lose. I will say this: Ben Shapiro is right about a couple things. One is the left is certainly not winning. In many ways, they are self-destructive and they are self-immolating for reasons that we've talked about before. The second thing he's right about is that they were never unified. Right? This is another myth that people on the right, quote unquote, and both of you know, I don't like that term as it is. It doesn't really mean anything anymore. We are nationalists, right? We want to restore the national identity of white America as the true identity of the country. The rest of this is just a bunch of noise. But, the bottom line is that the train has left the station. I think they're alarmed. They don't know what to do, and they're trying to stop it. It's too late.
Yeah. And what do we even do with these people? Matt Walsh has spent so much time on the reservation. He's driven so many people into an ideological ditch that if he wants to come over to our side because of public pressures, I kind of feel like, fuck you, dude. Like, stay in your own lane. You did this to yourself.
I mean, I would welcome him. I would welcome him with open arms. He can come on the Backlash.
That's because you're the golden retriever of the dissident right. You're like, sure, I'll be friends with you. Fuck that guy.
I mean, I don't know. My friend enemy distinction or what, I don't know. It's just different. Like I just, I try to align with people where I can. You go to army with the war that you got. Fuck. Scratch that. You go to war with the army you have, not the army you want, right? So that's kind of my mentality behind this thing of like, listen, if Matt Walsh and Tucker Carlson is who we got in the trenches with us, then all right, pass the ammunition, brother.
But we know because of the way they behave that they're motivated by material endeavors.
True. Yeah, and they're getting paid, and
What am I supposed to do with somebody like that?
Well, use them and then lose them.
We can't do that. They're going to get too much power within the movement. I don't want these people at the helm. I want the scrappy people that are poor, that have sacrificed a bunch to be in the movement. That's who I want at the helm. Like, we can't just let anybody in now.
These people are fading away. I think the term I would use to describe them is irrelevant. Right? They just don't matter anymore. Look, we are in a state of becoming. Right? We do not really have a right wing per se in this country. It exists online. It's sort of amorphous. It congeals around the ideas that we talk about on this channel all the time, whether that's race realism or it's the JQ or it's the realization that democratic electoral politics is structurally broken. Those things are beginning to operationalize, but we haven't actually created a real movement yet. That being said, as I've talked about before, you're going to see a categorical shift in personality types. We're going to shift from pluralism, which is the paradigm we've been in since the 1960s, and the same paradigm that Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro and all the rest of these people exist inside of. Even Tucker Carlson, to some degree, exists inside that paradigm. And we're going to shift, I think, like a light switch, into Puritanism. And that will make us more puritanical, right? So in this vein, I would suggest that Lenin's words bear repeating. A party must purge itself to strengthen itself. And so what we're doing now is we're basically purging people like Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro and all the rest of these folks who were never really with us to begin with.
Well, listen, though, at the same time, let's not forget how this whole conversation got started. And the conversation got started with a purge, right? And the purge was Jewish AJC activist Gavin Wax leaking these text messages of these young Republicans to damage their reputations, to ruin their ability to work in politics, and purging them from the party. We do, by the way, have some updates on this story because we did cover this a lot last week. And frankly, a lot of the stuff that I was talking about is now been accepted into the canon of this story. I was the first person to tweet about the fact that this was over petty beef between Gavin Wax and Peter Gunta because Donald Trump took a selfie picture with Gunta and didn't with Wax. And so we finally got some confirmations on this. This comes to us from AF Post.
Wait, this was over a selfie?
This was literally over a selfie. This was literally over a selfie.
That's even worse.
Yeah, and so there was the selfie issue, and then there was an issue of there was some
kind of appointment or something. That's what I heard.
Within the New York State Republican Party, usually one of these young Republican clubs gets a seat on the executive committee, and Peter Gunta took a run at one of these seats and kind of edged Gavin Wax out. And so this was all over petty beef.
What a bunch of fags.
And so let's see here. First of all, the first update on this story is that Gavin Wax has resigned from the New York Young Republican Club, and the New York Young Republican Club they have released a statement saying that they, quote, empathize with the 10 members of the Restore YR chat whose reputations and careers were destroyed for private internal messages. And so, bye-bye Gavin. Now he needs to get fired from the State Department. By the way, he works under Darren Beatty and is it Sarah Rogers, I think might be her name. So we still need to get some action over there. And the New York Young Republican Club has issued a statement condemning the leaked Telegram chats. And here it is. According to people close to the matter, Gavin Wax leaked the Young Republicans' Telegram messages to Politico in an effort to settle a personal score with former NYSYR President Peter Gunta. The grudge began after Wax felt Gunta had undermined him by taking a photo opportunity with Donald Trump at a Wildwood rally, an opportunity Wax believed was rightfully his. Unreal. So if you listen to the Backlash, I'm telling you, we've got the goods on all this shit. But now this has led to a second follow-up shot across the bow. My boy, my man, fucking, who is fucking with Paul Ingrassia? Have you guys seen these messages? LP, have you?
Briefly, kind of vaguely, yeah.
Bro, this guy, he's my man.
It was even tamer than the...
way tamer.
It was nothing.
So Paul Ingrassia, he is the White House liaison to the Department of Justice. And, he said some pretty tame stuff like MLK Jr. was the 1960s George Floyd and his holiday should be ended and tossed into the seventh circle of hell where it belongs. Totally facts. He said, I do have a Nazi streak in me from time to time. I will admit it.
A little spicy.
Never trust a Chinaman or an Indian. Never.
Yeah.
And my favorite, I said we are making Kwanzaa illegal in the next Trump admin. That was the gist of my tweet. No Moulignan holidays.
What is Moulignan? That's like an Italian slur.
You don't know
for
what a
black people or
Moulignan
something?
is?
What is that?
Oh, gee. Well, Moulignan, it's kind of derived from the word eggplant, but it's essentially...
It's an Italian thing,
It's the
right?
Italian version of the N-word.
Got
So
it,
no
got it.
Moulignan holidays. By the way, Moulignan is now at the top of my racial slur rotation.
It's a good one.
It has surpassed the N-word and the K-word. It is now my favorite.
N-word.
Are you
The
allowed to
N-word.
say the short version?
Mooly?
Yeah.
I like that.
M word.
Why not? The M word. So we got Paul Ingracia, who is getting taken out. He had a Senate confirmation hearing scheduled for tomorrow, and he has pulled out from it, saying that he doesn't have the support from the Republican Party to be confirmed. And this is because the Republican Party is controlled by Zionist Jews. Straight up. And something else about this situation that literally nobody else is going to cover, because I don't think anybody else knows this, but this is, I believe, a targeted attack against traditional Catholics. All the kids in the young Republican group chat,
Were Catholics,
most of them were Catholic, specifically SSPX Catholics. And Paul Ingracia, also an SSPX Catholic.
This isn't about you, Dave.
Oh, I'm just saying, it's getting a little weird that a bunch of people in my network are being targeted by Politico. I think that's fucked up.
Yeah, because when you become anti-Semitic, you want to become Catholic.
True. No, when I became Catholic, it made me anti-Semitic. The Good Friday liturgy.
Oh, yeah.
It brought me to tears. It
We
was
can't
beautiful.
act like there's no crossover here.
Now, I do have to take a brief 3-minute detour, if you guys are ready for this.
Okay,
We
fine.
have, this is now, let's see. We are now doing a brief interview with the Daily Beast. So this comes from Laura Esposito, a reporter for the Daily Beast, who has reached out to me about these leaked messages.
What a bitch.
Do you think the recent surfacing of texts from Ingracia and the Young Republicans group chat has had a chilling effect on younger GOP voices, or has it emboldened them? Well, I will reiterate what I said in my little selfie video, that you've turned these people now into lifelong radicals. By doing this to them, by tanking their careers, they're no longer limited by polite society or discourse. You've radicalized them. You've turned them into radicals, because now they don't have to hide their power levels. They don't have to pretend like this isn't going on. So frankly, I think that this is going to, on the one hand, embolden people, but on the other hand, it's going to serve as a cautionary tale. And I think that people are going to play their cards maybe a little closer to their chest.
Maybe.
Be careful with your group chats, okay? Like, maybe don't let Jews in the group chat.
Yeah, for real.
Okay, so that's question number one. Number two, it seems like just as many voices on the right have defended Ingracia and the group members as have condemned them. Do you think that moving forward, comments like theirs will become less controversial or carry fewer consequences?
Wow, what a super sleuth she is.
in the direction that the GOP is going in? Gee, I don't know.
What do you think is going to happen?
10 years ago, they would have been executed.
I know, right?
Like in a firing squad.
And now the reaction was, when we read those messages, like, oh, these aren't nearly as bad as my Telegram messages.
No, it's absolutely not. So yeah, no, I mean, the right needs to start embracing the radicals. This is something that the left does very well. When you see these crazy people going out, getting arrested and dragged off at meetings, what happens? The left all circles around them. They run cover for them. They donate to their bail fund. They stand together in solid. This is what, Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro were bitching about. And we need to do the same thing. I'm sorry. Fuck you, Ben Shapiro.
Is it Laura Esposito? Is that her
Laura
name?
Esposito is the name of this reporter. So do I think there will be fewer
Oh,
consequences
she's
in the
pretty
future?
foxy. Hey, girl.
Hopefully, yes. I believe that there will be. And so, yeah, this is a good thing. And then the third and final question, and just in general, curious as to the direction you think the GOP is going.
Oh, my God. These are such stupid questions.
It's okay. We need the controversy. We need to have the Daily Beast, like, ooh, far-right Nazis support Republican Party. You know what I mean?
No, but it's just annoying. Do you ever spend
just-
all day
we need the
talking
press.
to adults and then you have to talk to children and you just feel like they're retarded and you don't want to do it? That's how I feel with these questions. It's like, where have you been? Are you know the answer to these questions?
Yeah, they're
I
bad
know you know.
questions.
They're bad questions. You're lucky you're hot.
Do better next
Yeah,
time,
come
Laura.
on.
So in general, the direction the GOP is going in, obviously it's going in a Zionist-occupied direction.
Yeah,
They
what
are
do you think?
purging the party of anybody who isn't a fucking Zionist bought and paid for. So that's the direction it's going in. And it's not going to be good for anybody. Frankly, it's not good for Americans. It's not good for the Palestinians.
Yeah.
It's not good for literally anybody who gives a shit about this country. So that is why we need these young radical kids that aren't bought off. They're not taking the $7,000 checks. We need more of them. So step up. Do your job, infiltrate. Let's get into the institutions.
Listen to this article that she wrote. She said, from a Telegram chat made of young Republican leaders containing 251 slurs, including the N-word, the F slur, and a declaration of love for Hitler. This is groundbreaking shit, lady.
Oh, jeez. They're not sending their best. These reporters
No.
they've got to catch
Oh
up.
no, a
Can
hard
I say
R.
two things real quick?
Of
No,
course, jump in
absolutely
there,
not.
please.
The Gavin Wax, the Jewish guy, he wasn't in the group chat, from my understanding. He extorted somebody
Oh, right,
to get
right,
the
yeah,
leak.
yeah.
So
Correct.
it's
The secret
you can't
homo,
even
right?
just keeping them out doesn't even necessarily protect you. It's really kind of telling how you almost can't say anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there could be some Jew behind the scenes extorting one of your friends to get the leaks.
Yeah. And by the way, that was Mike Bartels that got extorted.
Yeah.
And it's because he is a deeply closeted homosexual.
Not anymore.
Mr. Bartels, you're welcome. I freed you last week. I'm freeing you again today. You don't have to hide it anymore. Just go to confession, buddy. It's okay.
Is that what you're calling outing everybody in front of thousands of people?
What?
You're free now.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, there is a certain element. Like, I don't like the gay pride parades. I don't like the pride flags. But hey, look, if you're gay and you're hiding it, well, that means someone can like have power over you
Yeah.
and wield that against you. So
Yeah.
listen, if you're going to be a gay conservative at this point, just fucking own it. And then
Were you going to say something about being a gay
I was going to
conservative?
say, if your
LP?
ex has pictures of you in your underwear, just post them to Twitter, and then she can't blackmail you either.
There you go.
Inside JF joke.
Yeah, right.
The other thing I want to say is that I agree with Dave on Matt Walsh. I don't know. I have a soft spot for the guy, and I'm holding out hope that he's going to transform into like just
Mecca Hitler 2.0.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
I hate Italians and I hate Canadians.
Listen, hey, what are we doing here?
You
What
guys
do you mean
are-
you hate these ethnic groups?
You guys are reverting to type. The real red pill is realizing that you can't be a part of this group. You can't. Cameron can because of his heritage breeding, so he can stay. Italians.
Well, I think the only thing I would say is it's a mistake to think that any of these people believe in anything, right? This is a persistent myth, again, that I see, is that there's this sort of ideological conviction in people that hold power or have influence. That's not true. They believe in themselves. They believe in monopolizing influence. So you better believe if the masses change their minds, that's exactly what they're doing. These people are not leaders. They're not leading public opinion, right? They're not rebellious thinkers. They're not a vanguard. All they are people that are trying to court public opinion to make money, right? To self-promote themselves.
Yep.
They do not believe in anything.
There's gotta be an
absolutely,
exception
I
to
think
the
Matt
rule,
Walsh
right?
will change his tune. Absolutely.
Could somebody who believed in something ever rise to that level, in your opinion? Like, is it?
Precisely, right? This is exactly the point. This is how we knew that Trump's administration would be a fraud. Because if he were legitimate, he would never have been permitted to be president of the United States. He had to make moral concessions to get there all the way. And that tells you that the system is systemically broken, which means you need a new movement, means you need new parties, all of the things that we've talked about. That is exactly the right point.
I agree. This feels like a natural opportunity to transition to the Ireland segment.
It is. It's going from one ethnic group to another, one non-white ethnic group to another non-white
Yeah, I
ethnic
know.
group. Sorry, I'm just texting the word moulignon to the YouTube chat. Because there's no motion. We got no motion over on the Backlash YouTube. There's like...
I knew about Moulignan, though, from The Sopranos.
Well, yeah. By the, do I have to mea culpa? I've never watched The Sopranos.
What?
Same.
I've just
What? Cameron, have you watched it?
This must be why we're such cucks, Dave.
I never watched The Sopranos either.
Are you people serious?
There you go.
No,
I have seen The Godfather, and I'm sure that's better.
I've been watching, what's that show? Schitt's Creek.
You've been watching Schitt's Creek and you haven't seen The Sopranos?
Yeah, I know. I got to tell my wife we're going to switch. We're going to go back and watch The Sopranos.
James Gandolfini is the most masculine TV character as Tony Soprano that I've ever seen.
It was really funny. There was one of these scenes where his daughter is dating this like half black, half
and
Jewish
he calls
guy.
him. Yes,
he's like,
I've seen that clip.
What are you, like a ditoon? He's like, I don't know, like a charcoal briquette, a moulignan. And he's like, what you're gonna do is pick up my daughter, take her back to school, and then say goodbye.
Yeah.
So anyway,
You guys should watch it.
good
Excellent
show.
show. Excellent
Good
show.
show.
Oh,
But yeah,
man.
we got no motion on the group chat. You send in your super chats, by the way. If you have any special questions for Hypocrite, send them in.
To talk about.
To talk about, we'll talk about all of your questions and answers, and it'll be good.
Can you pull up number 5?
Yes,
Man, have you guys all been following this Ireland story? This is just, it is, I know that's based on something that was horrible and tragic, but I'm feeling better about the state of the world with the responses that are happening to this. So
the Irish are reverting to type.
they are reverting in the best way possible. The victim blaming has already started in Ireland after a 10-year-old girl was raped by an African asylum seeker with an active deportation order. The media are using words like she absconded and behavioral issues to describe a 10-year-old rape victim. The system that enabled this incident is rallying to protect itself. We will not allow that to happen. Even normal Irish people don't care about being called racist anymore after what happened yesterday. Tusla must be shut down. It's my understanding that Tusla is like their, oh my gosh, what is the word for, it's like their foster care system, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
IPIS must be shut down. Jim O'Callaghan must resign. And that's just the beginning. The people of Ireland will no longer accept living in a society where our children are prey for African predators. Everything changed yesterday. So there are major riots going on across the country. Let's pull up 6. Tensions rise in Ireland as Irish citizens set ablaze police vehicles and check passing vehicles for non-Irish citizens after yesterday a 10-year-old girl was allegedly raped by an African migrant. Ireland is ready to erupt. Let's check this out.
Take a look.
He's Irish.
Let him through, he's Irish. So what do you think? Do you think they're pulling out non-Irish citizens and just like beating their asses?
See, we're going to get into this. We had an argument earlier today in our pre-show meeting. Said, let him through, he's Irish. And then you said, Irish citizen. Okay, well, Indians can be Irish citizens. As we know from E. Michael Jones, the black sub-Saharan Africans, according to him, can be Irish.
Semantics. Every single
It's
one of
not
you.
semantic.
Yes, it is.
They're not white. They're Irish.
Every single one of you knows that I'm talking about white Irish.
The Irish are Irish.
Yeah, I get it.
They're
I
Irish.
understand. It's a
They're
white
just
movement.
Irish.
Oh, come on.
They don't have to be white. See, in America, we have a melting pot, which is not a good thing. It's not a good thing. Okay, I'm not in favor of the melting pot. Israel Zangwill can go fuck himself. He's dead. I hope he's rolling over in his grave right now. The point is, in America, we got white people and black people and brown people. In Ireland, there are Irish people and non-Irish people. That's it. There's no white distinction that's necessary.
Because
They're Irish.
there are
Just
black-
like in Germany. There are Germans in Germany, France for the French, Germany for the German, Ireland for the Irish. It's
Impertinent.
It's very simple.
Impertinent.
I think I just quoted Hitler.
No, we have a problem now because they're deeply integrated non-white Irish citizens. Those people are not Irish. If you have to be white to be Irish, there are distinctions to be made here.
Okay, a non-white Irish citizen, I will grant you that is a category of reality and not just a category of the mind.
Thank you.
Okay.
EMJ has taught you well. Keith Woods has been doing some excellent reporting on this. Everybody check him out on Twitter. He's actually coming on the show in November.
Wonderful.
Date TBD.
Nice.
Here he is reporting outside of a flaming migrant hotel.
And that doesn't mean gay. Come on, you're going to play for me or
I'm
what?
here at the protest at City West Hotel, where a migrant, an asylum seeker that was supposed to be deported, stayed in the country and raped a 10-year-old Irish girl that was in state care. As you can see, things are massively kicking off here. There's probably well over 1,000 protesters. Unfortunately, this is the first crime we've seen like this, even in the last year or two. So things are really reaching a boiling point here.
Yikes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
He set the fire, right, as the backdrop. And then, people are protesting.
That's what I would do.
Amazing.
I had a few more clips, but I think we should get into the discussion. So
I
what
can roll him as B-roll.
how is this going to end? I mean, are we going to watch the government start killing and detaining its own citizens for rioting so they can protect African migrants with deportation orders? I mean, that's obviously just going to cause more rioting. They're not going to be able to contain the situation. At a certain point in time, they're going to have to accept the reality that there's a people's revolt that they cannot contain. What do you think this looks like to you over the next, 6 months?
Well, I'll tell you this. This was my thoughts watching it. There's this Irish nationalist I follow. Her name's Barnett. It might be Rebecca, actually. I can't remember her first name, but she's married to this other little nationalist dude, and he was in this...
Justin Barrett?
That's it. I think that's it. Yeah, he was in this... I don't know if you guys saw the viral clip where he was talking to Ezra Levant, and he was saying, go be Jewish somewhere else.
Yeah, that's Justin Barrett.
Yeah, okay, so his wife, she tweeted out how they were like marching peacefully, and she said the police instigated on them and kind of escalated things. I don't know how true that is, but for me, it's like the day we win, the day I'll know we won is when I wake up and the police are like standing aside and letting this happen. I don't know how you're, as an Irish policeman, you see what happened to that girl and you think it's my job to stop the people who want to stop this. Like, they must be conflicted. They must feel some sense of shame. And the day they just stand down, that's it. You know,
yeah, that's when the Irish people win, for sure. But yeah, I mean, it is also amazing to see like the reversion to type, right? Because the Irish have always been, it's like you back them into a corner and you browbeat them and you browbeat them and then boom, they get violent.
They're scrappy.
It's awesome.
Right.
I love to see it. You know, God bless the IRA. We need a revival. We got to fire up the what was that group again? The Ancient Order of Hibernians. I'm sorry. Like, we got to get what if ever there was going to be like white Zionism, it would just be like supporting Irish nationalists and running guns.
Yeah.
I disavow that. I would never do that. But yeah, I think this is great, and it's wonderful to see. Nice warm fire you can warm your hands by.
And do that gesture too much.
It's a Garda vehicle.
I don't trust any of you. Now both of you have done this during the episode. Cameron, what do you think the next 6 months looks like for the Irish? Do you think the government's going to collapse?
All right. So what have we told you from the inception of this podcast? We have told you that there are these things called archetypes, and that archetypes are embedded in the ethnic peoples that define nations like Ireland or Scotland or England or Germany or even the United States. And I would take exception to what Dave said a moment ago. The United States is absolutely not a melting pot, which is why we speak English. It's why we have Christian holidays. It's why all of the statues that bestride this nation happen to look like European peoples. We, in fact, were one of the more homogenous nations ever formed in the history of Western civilization, maybe in the history of the world. That is a well-documented fact. That changed in the 1960s, really didn't change until the 1980s. That change was a relatively recent development. That being said, what we've conveyed to you is that ultimately people wake up. There are lines that cannot be crossed. And one of those lines, particularly for white peoples, is when women and children are victimized. Now, a little bit of context for this situation. It appears as though in addition to a massive migration problem, which has beset Ireland like every other country in the Western world, there appears to be some kind of collusion or corruption with this TILSA state-backed agency that steps in to handle children that are not properly cared for, or maybe they're abandoned, what have you. And the immigration problem is actually fueling that. So there appears to be some kind of child trafficking business that is tied to the governmental authority in Ireland. And that's a big reason why you're beginning to see protests across the country. It's also noteworthy that what happened in Ireland recently happened in a relatively prominent suburb in Dublin. So these are sort of quakes that are beginning to go off. One other thing I wanted to note just for a moment is that Academic Agent was on a few weeks ago, and I sort of took some shots at what he said, because this is an illustration of how utterly wrong what he said was, particularly about online behavior. And very specifically, I went through an article called, maybe Dave, you can bring it up. It's called "Court Appearances After Pre-Planned Violence in City West." City West is the Dublin suburb where this happened. And in this article, listen to what they have to say about the nature of the protests that are happening all over the country. It says, and I quote, "The violence was orchestrated." I'm assuming there wasn't much violence. This is probably a hit piece, but nonetheless, it says, quote, "The violence was orchestrated and pre-planned online," according to the officer in charge of the policing operation. The chief superintendent, Michael McNulty, described the event as a public gathering organized by disparate groups on social media who stir up hatred and violence and encourage others to get involved. It goes on and on and on and makes references to the same thing. Academic Agent assured us and defiantly said that what happens online is spurious. It's irrelevant. It's marginal. It's not real political behavior. This is absolute nonsense. What's happening online is the only meaningful political behavior that's gone on for the last decade plus, part of the universe that all three of you have helped create. And that is precisely what's going on in Ireland. One other thing here, and this gets to the answer to your question. You're asking me where are things headed. I saw an interview recently, maybe it's in our clips, I don't know. But it was with three Irishmen talking about political affairs on the Eddie Dobbs channel. By the way, if you want to know about Irish politics and find out what's going on over there, you need to follow Eddie Dobbs on YouTube. Just go on YouTube, Google his name, Eddie Dobbs, and you'll find, I think it's called Crosstalk or Crosspoint, something like that. Look him up, and you can follow Irish politics more closely. In any case, what these three gentlemen basically said is that Ireland is a tinderbox. And it's also worth mentioning that there's a presidential election in the very near future in Ireland as well, which is, relatively speaking, irrelevant to what's happening on the streets, because nobody in the electoral sphere is going to change any of this.
What about Conor McGregor?
In any case, the question that you're asking me is, where are we headed? What is happening in Ireland, which is what's happening in France, which is what's happening in the United States, is that the social contract has been breached. The government does not represent the citizenry anymore. And remember, every social contract that a government must adhere to has to, at a minimum, protect the population. The government in Ireland is not doing so. Protesters are becoming increasingly emboldened against it as a result. And eventually, as you say, the police will turn against the government because they know that the social contract has been violated, and that goes for them as well. This is the situation that we face. We're headed, in other words, for some kind of a revolutionary event.
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on. Why don't we play these clips?
Okay,
I've got it up. We can play it really quick. And by the way, I want to agree with what Cameron was saying about the melting pot and all that. America was essentially an ethno-state until 1965. Let's all be honest about that. It was a 90% white country. So,
just to gauge the severity of the situation, not only in Ireland but across Europe, the grooming gangs are more serious than we could possibly imagine. This situation, I mean, I think that as Americans, we're like, this is happening sometimes, but this is an orchestrated, well-connected group of people, of kind of disparate groups that are trading white girls. They're getting girls into drugs, very, very young girls. So this is a clip from Eddie Hobbs that you just referenced. Let's play this to 221.
That's behind me here is a UCD report entitled Protecting Against Predators. And it was written by Dr. Mary Canning, Dr. Marie Keenan, and Ruth Breslin. And the fact that this report comes out of UCD, says it all. If they're saying it, how bad must it be? And what they say in this report is that this is only the tip of the iceberg. But this report delivers a stark warning into the ongoing and escalating risks of child exploitation in Ireland. And what the really interesting part and shocking part about this is that in most cases, this abuse is happening in organized fashion by coordinated networks of gangs of predatory men. And this report draws a direct correlation. It mentions them by name of the grooming gangs in the UK in Rochdale and Rotherham. And I just want to read one direct quote from the report, which you could then discuss at length and apply to the facts of the case. So the quote is, "Girls are being picked up in taxis and brought to hotels where they're being coerced or enticed to provide sexual acts to multiple men in exchange for money, phones, or drugs. It's organized. It's not random. Networks sharing kids like commodities."
Can you play
Nick,
7?
when was that report published?
Can you play 7B? This is the government reaction to what is obviously going on, how little they care.
Helen McEntee, we'll bring her up here now so you can actually see what she said. Helen McEntee in February 2024, which was after the publication of the UCD report, says this: "There is certainly not an increase. There is certainly not a correlation between the increasing numbers that we've seen in the last 2 years and an increase in crime. That is very clear. There are no facts to support a correlation between immigration figures and crime rates."
Thanks.
Helen McEntee then as Minister for Justice. No.
Good Lord.
Jeez.
They're just going to allow this to happen. They want to be politically correct. They want to be popular. And so they're going to just sacrifice little white girls at the altar of multiculturalism. They don't give a shit.
This government deserves to be thrown over.
Of course.
I mean, fuck the doll. And how do you say it? The TASARC? We need a new one.
TSOC.
Yeah,
TSOC.
TSOC. Thank you. I'm
The Prime Minister.
working
Yeah,
on it.
and incidentally, the Prime Minister of Ireland, I think it's Michael Martin is his name. He said repeatedly that Ireland has no real homogenous national identity.
Yeah, I saw that clip.
He is embedded. He's invested, as is the entire government of Ireland, as is the entire government in the United Kingdom, in the mess that has been created. And the important thing to note about all this, folks, is that there's no reverse gear. They're not going to change course. They're just going to double down and double down and double down until there is an explosion that throws them from power. Unfortunately, that explosion is almost certainly going to be violent at this point. They have let things get completely out of control, and they're unprepared for the collateral damage that they've caused.
Is it legal for us to call for revolution in a different country? Because like, I know that it might be like getting close to like Fed posting if we were to say that about America, but like, why not?
Dave is the Fed.
No, I'm not. I'm like half Irish, half Italian, so I'm clearly not white. And
He's right.
Fuck these guys.
The Irish people are clearly outraged.
How many hundreds of years did my people suffered for hundreds of years? We fought for our country, and then, oh God, what happened? Google took it over. We need to take our country back. It was promised to me and my grandfather.
I have some Irish too.
Get out of here.
But really, they spent all this time fighting, and now, like, what? Fine Gael, gay. The Sinn Féin, gay. All of these parties are awful. There's two political parties in Ireland that stand any chance, and one is the National Party, and then the other one is Sol na hÉireann, which is the Irish Nationalist Party. And I'm probably mispronouncing that because I'm, a dumb
Yeah, but now we're
American.
talking about using the system for political solutions, and that's obviously not.
No.
not
I'm
going to
saying
work.
that of all, they have like multiple parties. It ain't like a two-party system like it is over here.
Dave, I know.
Okay, I'm just saying. The only ones that are even close are these two, and they're small minority parties. But grab
You wanna get in here, LP?
Grab a hold of this moment.
I did a lot of research into the grooming gangs in the UK. I made like a 2-hour documentary. I read books. I know everything there is to know. I picked apart their whitewash government report that they put out to cover up the whole thing. And it's so reminiscent. Like it's the same thing all over again, And I think Cameron's right there. You can't make these people backtrack.
No, and especially when they're the fucking leader of the government, the leader of the Irish people, is saying that there basically is no Irish nation. There is no Irish people. He said something to the effect of like, oh, well, nationality is fluid. It's very fluid. Yes. And it's like, what are you talking about?
It's the most inflexible of all categories.
Hello.
Yeah, but the key point is, and you guys are hitting on it, but I'll just reinforce it, is that it doesn't matter whether you're talking about Mark Carney or you're talking about the Irish Prime Minister, you're talking about Keir Starmer in the UK or Macron in France. They're all the same. They're all echoing the same sentiments. They all more or less believe that there is no European identity. In fact, they believe that European identity is a threat, that it needs to be destroyed, subverted, undermined, and replaced. That's why they're supporting the mass immigration that they are. The difference, though, is that none of these people understand the delicacy, the legitimacy of the state. If you lose legitimate authority, and this is a subject we've talked about at length, but I'm not sure it fully registers because in the United States and I think Canada as well, we're relatively young countries. We haven't had long bouts of time where the rule of law has been suspended or didn't exist outside of the frontier. The frontier in American history was relatively lawless for a long time. That is absolutely the case. But outside of that experience, we don't really know what it's like. And the beginnings of that occur when legitimate authority is compromised. And it's very difficult to restore that once it's gone. Now, it has not been completely demolished yet. And that's why those protesters are out there protesting, because they still believe that they can send a message to elected officials and they will change course. We all know that is exactly what is not going to happen. So the direction of travel is much more explosive.
Yep. And we're seeing this in the United States, too. As we talked about a little bit on Monday, EBT is in the midst of getting canceled, and people are about to find out what happens. Was it PNW that said that we're 3 days of no food away from a complete?
I said 3 meals. I thought the quote was, you're 3 meals away from violent revolution. I thought that was the quote. He said 3 days.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I mean,
it's 3 meals.
Three meals, but it might take 3 days for these people to run out of food. And then, so maybe.
Well, they haven't even run out of food and they're already bitching. So I would assume 3 meals is appropriate.
Yeah. Well, these people don't really plan ahead. Aren't they kind of used to fruit falling and all around? And,
let's go through this. Yeah. What is wrong with you, Dave? President Donald Trump's administration is moving to suspend all supplemental nutrition. This is the SNAP program, assistance program, benefits for roughly 42 million Americans amid the ongoing government shutdown. He may not bring them back. Earlier this month, the Department of Agriculture sent a letter to states warning that a lapse in appropriations had resulted in insufficient funds to pay SNAP benefits through November. Over the weekend, states began to issue warnings to their most vulnerable residents that benefits would be suspended even sooner. Let's see what's going to happen. The black people are telling us. Let's pull up clip 9. Finna get hectic.
Was this the one?
That's the
David
one.
Santa Clara
Oh, nope. It's the previous one.
All right, hold
David Santa Clara, that's my boy.
Nice. Let's go. All right. Oh,
she says finna get hectic.
It's finna get hectic. It do be like that, Mr. Stansel. It do be like that. Here we go.
Y'all better lock y'all cars at night. Lock your cars. Lock your house up. If you're one of them people that just leave your car unlocked, parked in your driveway, you better lock it. With the food stamps being gone and people not gonna have people gonna eat. Okay, nobody's just gonna. This is 2025. Nobody's just not gonna eat. Food stamps. I'm telling you right now. even with the government shutdown and the food stamps and stuff being gone for next month, and it's going to affect everybody, there's about to be a lot of stuff going on, okay? I'm not even going to talk about it too much because, hey, you know what's about to happen. Lock your cars, lock them.
Precious over here. She could skip like months of meals. She'd be fine.
What does it being 2025 and hunger have anything to do with one another?
If
People don't go hungry in 2025.
If this happened in the 7th century, I'm sorry, there would still be riots.
I know.
Like, what are you talking about?
Let's play 10.
Hold on a second. I also want to point out, because my wife and I were like looking, we were talking about this EBT thing, right? And so she was showing me this video of a black woman. Honey, if you're listening, please text me the video of the black lady making her coffee. First of all, it was diabetes, like all over the place. Just like put in like a half of a jar of this like caramel or whatever into it. But her nails were like that long. And I just want to point out that like we got more nails going on here. Yeah. These people are getting food stamps and then spending all of their money on like nails and bracelets.
And grills.
What weaves. The fuck? Weaves, yeah.
And their weaves.
That's another thing.
Not her.
We need our weaves. When was that? Do you guys remember that clip? It was during the George Floyd riots or something like that. She's like,
we need our weaves.
She's like, it was that clip. It went so viral.
What's AutoZone done for us lately?
Yeah, she was talking about not looting local businesses, and MSNBC and everybody cut off that clip. She's like, don't loot businesses in your own town. But the next thing she said that they cut out was like get the big guys. We need our weaves.
Oh my!
I know. Let's watch this one.
And people are going to start, I'm telling you, this is going to be a thing. People are going to start, instead of stealing groceries from the stores, they're going to start watching people go to their cars. And they're going to take all of their groceries. And you know what the store going to do? Not our problem. Not our business. It's outside the store. They didn't do it in the store. It's not our property. Call 911. Call the authorities. Make a report. They're going to leave your ass for dead. And people are really going to be stealing people carts of groceries out of the grocery parking lot. I'm telling you. It seems like it's headed that way. Now,
let's roll into 11.
What other choices are people going to have to find food to eat? Because people about to be out here struggling. They about to be out here bad.
All right, enough of that. I was just going to say, like, that was not where my mind went first.
Like, they're going to kill you.
My thought was like, my thought was, well, you know what they're going to do? They're going to start robbing Nike stores.
Yeah, really.
That was the first place where my brain went. We need shoes. If we can't get food, we're taking the shoes.
We need shoes. Let's play 11 too before we talk about it.
That's really plausible. I could see
He's
that
all
happening.
serious over here. Like, yeah, that is what's going to happen. Yeah.
Jeez, let's see what this is now.
They stopped my food stamps.
Yeah. Hold on. Sorry, what were you saying?
It's just this entitlement complex they have. Like, oh, you're not giving us our food. Well, we're going to take whatever we want.
Right.
Then. Like, I could totally see it.
It's reparations, honky.
If they actually don't get their food. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All I know is if they stop my food stamps, me and my man will be at the grocery store walking out with two big ass carts, and ain't bet nobody better do nothing because my man coming hard behind me, and it only take him one time to punch your ass.
Good Lord.
If they stop my food
I think they're holding back. I mean, we all know what this is going to look like.
Dave, I sent you one in your DMs. It's like it looks like a grid because it's a bunch of them put together into.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I saw that too.
Hold on a second. Let's get this one going.
Everybody going around saying
timeline for the next month.
Bruh.
Dude.
That is so real. Whoever made that, they were so real for that. It's true.
I know that we all think this is funny, but if they're not able to reinvigorate SNAP, which they probably shouldn't because this needs to happen at some point, the level of violence that we saw from the Summer of Love is going to look adorable compared to what we are up against. And black people are going to come into white towns and we're all going to have to defend ourselves. I mean, that's what this looks like. I guess my question is this going to wake people up, or are people going to continue to have normalcy biases? We're all getting robbed by black people for basic necessities. Let's go to Cameron.
So this is an interesting conundrum, in part because I would say race realism over the last 10 years or so, which has obviously gained ascendancy as we're discussing it plainly on this show, has focused primarily on criminality, less so on the economic disparities that have actually bedeviled the black community from the inception of the republic, right? There is this notion, there is this myth that when the civil rights era kicked off, that we deployed a package of reforms that basically integrated blacks into society. That never really happened. What actually happened is that we created massive redistribution networks that kept these people afloat for a long time. And to illustrate exactly how big the disparity is, this is going to blow your minds. There was a report that came out in 2015. Dave, you could probably bring it up.
I'm trying.
It was called The Color of Wealth. The Color of Wealth, 2015. It was published by the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. They found that the median net worth for U.S.-born black households in the Boston area was $8. $8. Okay. Now, I would suggest to all of you that is a representative sample. Okay. That actually speaking, blacks across the United States, with the exception of some small semblance of a black middle class, which does exist, is incredibly poor, and always has been, as I said. So that begs the question: if that's the case, how have we averted the sort of social consequences of this disparity? Well, the answer is what you saw in those video clips. We have deployed food stamps, welfare, health care, all manner of services that have been provided by the state and financed to some extent by white taxpayers, okay? Although bear in mind that we were never really able to fund it. We had to borrow, right, to make up the difference. Well, now we're running out of money. This is the second longest government shutdown in the history of the United States. Government shutdowns since the 1960s, I think there's like almost 80 of them, have almost uniformly been passed, right? Meaning debt has accumulated to the high heavens and nothing has been done about it. And now we have a debt crisis. That debt crisis means that whether Congress gets its acts together or not is kind of irrelevant. And going forward, increasingly, it will be irrelevant. And the bond markets, the animal spirits, will not bail us out. That means food stamps will get cut, housing vouchers will get cut, electricity vouchers, all manner of services will get cut and probably get cut aggressively in a short period of time. That means social cohesion will be tested. So get ready, folks, because that's where we're headed.
I'm telling you, if you aren't hitting the range, I don't know what to
come
tell
on,
ya,
Dave.
but
You're such a fart sniffer.
we gotta get as much out of these clips as humanly possible.
Dave was so proud of himself. He's looking through these. He's like, I look so cool.
I look so cool in those clips.
Cool.
Dude, you know, I once had a live stream taken down from YouTube just because I played a video of a guy shooting guns. You got to be a little. They don't
whatever.
like that
You got to
on your
disguise it a little more than
live. Yeah,
that.
you got to put the music on. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you guys thought the No Kings was bad? Wait till you see the No Kangs protest.
Oh, what are we going to do? I mean, I have a feeling that they're going to refinance SNAP before things get too real.
Maybe. I don't know. Cameron, by the way, you've been gone. When did the government shutdown start?
3 weeks ago?
3 weeks ago. I don't know if we've really had a discussion with Cam about this. There's apparently some statute that says if you're going to lay off a government employee in D.C., you got to give them 2 months' notice. And so there was some discussion of, the trusting the plan that the government shutdown is designed to last 61 days. and then they'll reopen it so that they can cut a bunch of federal employees. Have you heard anything about that?
They do. So they do have they do have procedures that are built in to keep the government afloat. One is right that essential personnel stay on. That distinction, I think, goes back to the Carter administration. So you have essential government employees and inessentials. So the inessentials can sort of fall off, but the essentials will stay. And then you get what are called, I think they're called extraordinary measures. And the extraordinary measures are deployed by the Treasury Department, and they have a checking account at the Fed. And they basically run down that checking account to continue to pay government debt. Couple things on the debt ceiling itself. What is the debt ceiling? The debt ceiling goes back to World War I. And the reason it exists is originally the Constitution defined Congress as the governing body that disperses funds, right? That changed in World War I because it was just not administratively fluid to deploy funding during wartime. Unfortunately, that never changed back. So what the Congress did is they created this debt ceiling, which was sort of a means to check the Treasury Department and the executive branch in terms of their spending, right? To sort of govern how much they were spending. Well, as I said, the debt ceiling has been breached like 75, 80 times in the last 100 years or so. So it hasn't worked at all. And the Treasury General account is draining, right? Because we just don't have that much cash on hand anymore. So this could be the makings of a real crisis. Now, I think most of us agree that this is political theater. And as Rebecca said, they'll probably pull back from the brink. But that's not really the point. The point is that we're going broke. The point is that the political dysfunction is creating doubt in the minds of our creditors. And the ratings agencies, Moody's, for example, they've all downgraded the United States debt in the last 10 years. I think Moody's recently downgraded our debt last summer, something of that nature. So in other words, this is eroding confidence. This is destroying the credit worthiness of the government. And at this stage, because we've done it so often, my guess is that nobody in Congress cares. They probably don't think twice about it. But it is eventually going to come to count. And you're going to see people have their benefits cut, and probably cut pretty aggressively, very fast. That will lead to something like Greece in 2011. If you go back to the pigs crisis, you had Greeks that lost their pensions overnight, and so they violently rioted. I think you could see that on a much larger scale in urban communities across the United States where Black populations are poor. As I said, they are poor. $8 per capita household. Jeez. Right? That's not an individual. $8. And that was compared to, I think it was $250,000 per household in Boston for white families. That's unbelievable. We're looking
at the chart now. And so this is the chart has dark blue, light blue. Dark blue is total assets. Light blue is net worth. So for whites in Boston, it was about, $250,000. For Black people, it was $700 of total assets, $8 net worth. Now, they are being a little outdone by the Dominicans.
$0.
$0 of net
Oh my
worth.
gosh.
But that is,
That's a testament.
On the one hand, it's criminal, but on the other hand, aren't they kind of doing it to themselves?
That is a testament to how robust social programs are, though.
True.
Otherwise, how could they possibly sustain themselves on that little money?
Understand.
They can't.
Right.
That's right. They can't. And remember that illegal immigrants are benefiting from the same largesse, right? Again, there's a myth that there's a net benefit to having all this cheap labor. The cheap labor often doesn't come with employer-backed health care. So who pays for their health care? What about the education of their children? We finance all of this. Yeah. So basically what you have is a multiracial welfare state in which the largesse of the tax revenue, the productivity of the white population has been siphoned off to keep these people afloat for a long, long time. There never was any real integration, right? It was always some kind of a collective investment scheme. Now the debts are too great and the economy's not strong. We are headed
It's also worth mentioning
a massive
that
tribalistic, I guess a tribal explosion in a competition for resources. That's where we're headed.
Yeah, it's also worth mentioning that the middle class black people, a lot of their jobs are government jobs. They're essentially like affirmative action hires. So what wealth you do see is a sort of illusionary too, because like a lot of those jobs are useless, right? Or they could be done better by computers at this point.
Yeah, we are headed for some serious. And by the way, that does lead us to that's a nice spot for me to put a little plug in to ODGG Supply, who is a new advert, of course, going with the Planet of the Apes on their fucking website. Holy shit. But ODGG Supply is now one of the proud sponsors of this program. They do have like a lot of stuff, especially their ape-approved gear. Which this within the context
unrelated
within the context of this conversation sounds much worse than it is. But you know, they've got all kinds of stuff, tents, they've got rucksacks, they've got equipment for being outside in the rain when you want to go shoot at the range, you know. So anyway, if you're thinking about starting prepping, which I would, because this is going to lead to a serious crisis if not resolved. You don't want to be caught flat-footed. You do want to be prepped. You do want to have supplies. So go to odggsupply.com if that is your thing. I think that was a good plug, wasn't it?
Was
I think
good,
that shoehorned in fairly seamlessly.
Yeah. We should talk about how seamless it was to make it more seamless.
You know, I'm just saying.
And look at where our money is going at the same time.
Where's our money going?
Foreign wars. It's going to, we're going to talk about the Venezuela thing in a second. It's going to Israel. It's going to Ukraine.
Speaking of all of this stuff, this is another brief aside. We'll get more into this, I'm sure, when we talk about our other sponsor, atlasbullion.com/backlash. But I just found out the other day, and Cameron, I don't know if we've talked about this, so the United States, and I knew that we deployed 1/4 of all of our THAAD missile batteries to Israel to protect them during the 12-day war or whatever. So I think we all knew about that. But what I just found out yesterday that absolutely blows me away is that, guess how long it's going to take for us to replenish the amount of missiles that we launched in 12 days?
A decade. But China's not going to sell us the goods.
But China's not going to sell us the stuff.
I'm so smart.
No, you do. You know what's going on.
Mensa over here.
We're frozen. I'm so sorry. We're frozen a little bit. We got to let this catch up. But yeah, you're right. 10 years that it's going to take for us to replenish that. And
I don't actually know anything. Dave was telling me this at dinner.
Oh, did I tell you this
last
at dinner?
night.
Oh, shit, son of a bitch.
I'm actually retarded.
Here I am thinking you were smart. But yeah, no, I mean, it's incredible. And so, yeah, the rare earth thing is going to be like a huge problem. Our military is going to be crippled. And so, you know, add to that, you know, this EBT snap thing. And if these cities start freaking out, and plus, over the past couple of months, because of the ICE raids, Antifa, the far left, they have had a lot of time to create these mutual aid networks and essentially use these ICE incursions as training. So if there is social unrest, these guys are going to be well prepared to take full advantage of it, which is, you know, what the Bolsheviks were doing during the revolution in Russia. Sorry, I'm done now.
That's okay. Let's talk Venezuela. Can you pull up 12, please?
Yes, I can. I can pull up.
The 10,000 U.S. troops now operating in the Caribbean were sent to interdict drug boats. But Venezuelan President Maduro's September 30th state of external emergency fundamentally changed what they're facing: a military on full wartime alert, equipped with Russian air defenses and anti-ship missiles, backed by what Maduro claims is a militia of over 8 million members, number disputed. For American commanders, this means that every operation and incident now happens under the threat of Venezuelan retaliation, a situation the current force is not ready to handle. So we have been discussing this Venezuela thing because I listened to a Nick Fuentes segment a few days ago where he was talking about, like, well, if I don't want to, mischaracterize what he said. He's like, well, I'm against regime change generally, but this may be for the benefit of the United States. I'm like, no regime change. Nobody is talking about what happens when we institute regime change. Historically, we've been really, really bad about it. And I think that the South American situation is far more complicated than any of us, except for Cameron, because he has an excellent Substack that he wrote about it. Realize, I think we have more interest there. I think that Rubio is probably at the helm there. Cameron, can you take a minute to discuss your Substack and to get into a little bit about what the real impetus is for our involvement in Venezuela?
Well, I mean, as Dave said, right? If it takes you a decade to replenish Patriot battery missiles, what better time to start another war in Venezuela? I mean, obviously, great pretext to expand your proxy wars around the world. Look, as far as I can tell, what's happening in Venezuela is largely being driven by the Cuban lobby. So when we talk about this show and its purpose, what is the show really about? You know, why do we do this? Why does Rebecca say America awakens? Well, we use those terms because we are just now really beginning to process who's at the helm of power in our society, what our identity really is, because we've been so brainwashed, we've been so misled and lied to for the last 80 years, really since the end of World War II. And part of the answer to that question, part of what has frustrated our ability to implement policy that's in the national interest, without question, is Zionism, is the domination of the state, of the media by Jewish influence. But that's not the only influence. We also have rogue agencies like the CIA, which I'm going to get into in just a moment. But we also have the Cuban lobby. And it has been said that Donald Trump is a pay-for-play kind of president. And if you pay big bucks, and it seems like the Cuban lobby has, then you get results. And part of the result of that is that Marco Rubio is the Secretary of State and the acting National Security Advisor. And Marco Rubio, since he has been a senator, at the behest of the Cuban lobby. And Rubio supposedly has somewhat of an untoward background as well. If you follow Max Blumenthal, he was known back in the day as Narco Rubio. I'll let you make of that what you will. But Rubio has been pushing regime change in Venezuela since he's been a senator. Now, why is that? Why would the Cuban lobby want that? Well, some of that is a legacy of losing Cuba to Castro. So they sort of identify Maduro with Castro. But part of it is that this Latin American influence over our government is pivoting the United States more in the direction of Latin American affairs. And I say that in part because we just bailed out Argentina. So Malay's government, which is flailing, and Argentina is not exactly known for its financial rectitude. We have sent $20 billion down there to keep him afloat. I think we're going to send more money. At least that's what Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, has said. And Bukele, the president of El Salvador, has become a household name in the United States because of his relationship with Donald Trump. All of this is to say that the Latin American penetration and influence in our government is very, very strong. And it appears as though they're throwing their weight behind some kind of a regime change in Venezuela. That's one. The second is this three-letter agency called the CIA. And the CIA is always up for regime change. And for those of you who know your history, over the last, since 1947, over the last 75 years or so, the CIA has launched a number of regime changes all over the world, but in particular in Latin America, one of which was in Chile, where under the direct direction of Henry Kissinger, they made sure that Allende was removed and replaced in a military coup in 1973. Now, some of the CIA brethren and others in the U.S. government believe that this is part of the mandate of the United States, as part of the Monroe Doctrine and the Roosevelt Corollary, that we, as the superpower in the Western Hemisphere, we can interdict as we see fit. Well, I'm here to tell you that Latin America collectively doesn't agree with that. And there's actually tremendous anti-Americanism that I would argue is feverish across Latin America today, directed at the United States, directed at white Americans in particular. Some of that is what's playing out on the streets in Los Angeles and Chicago as we speak between Anglo-Americans, Americans like us, and Latinos. Latinos who, in general, tend to be very nationalistic, especially Mexicans. And this has created a fault line inside the United States. That fault line is also playing a role in South America. Then you have the neoconservatives. And the neoconservatives are always up for a proxy war, and they want to counter Chinese penetration in South America. So the Chinese are actually building infrastructure, trade routes, supply chains, and negotiating trade deals across South America. So the neocons are upset about that. And their view is, well, we can create a proxy war against China and Venezuela the same way we have in Ukraine against Russia, and in the Middle East by proxy of Israel and Iran. You see how all of this puts itself together. The problem is all of those wars have cost us immensely. They've all blown up in our face. And it's almost certainly the case that that will happen in Venezuela as well. Why do I say that? Well, there are no good dictators in Venezuela. There are no good people down there per se that you're going to put in power arbitrarily that will exercise Venezuelan policies in a way that will benefit the United States directly. That is just a delusion. But that's only one of the problems. In addition to that, you have a country that is seemingly ungovernable, right? It's not just that you have narco cartels. It's not just that you have guerrillas. You also have terrain that's very mountainous, that's jungle, that's very difficult to control, logistically or otherwise. This is in part why you have these crime syndicates that run rampant all across the region. The issue for the United States is that we have a massive flow of drugs and people from south of the border to north of the border. But solving that problem has always been about dealing with Mexico. And Mexico has been our historic enemy. Remember that in the 19th century, in the 1800s, we fought basically two wars against Mexico. One was to establish the Republic of Texas in the 1830s, and then secondly was in the 1840s. And that war defined what this country would be. It demarcated the white civilization north of the Rio Grande and everything else in the south. And make no mistake, that demarcation is very clear when you go south of the border. So this is a mess. This is going to be a quagmire, and it's not clear to me at all how we are going to benefit from this, particularly at a time when we have a debt crisis, when we have wars in Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and we have what I think are the makings of a war between Mexico and the United States that's unfolding in the U.S. So add it all up, and this is what they would say in the military, and this is a technical term, a cluster fuck.
And to think we could have spent that $20 billion feeding our massively obese black population. What a waste of money.
That's right.
Unbelievable.
Can you pull up 13 just so I can...
There's also, I wanted to add, there's also this kind of other...
This guy.
Well, there's just something else that can be said and added that adds some context to this whole thing, and that is that Nicolas Maduro is anti-Zionist.
Yeah.
Hardcore. And I think that there is a very strong subtext to that, where the Israelis don't want to tolerate any governments out there that have any level of sympathy for what's going on in Gaza.
Right.
And so I think that adds...
Because
I mean, like, listen,
very
if it was just about drugs, why aren't we fucking invading China?
Right.
I mean, where's the fentanyl coming from? Like,
I'm seeing neocons talk about, well, he actually is involved in some drug pen. I'm like, we've never given a shit about this before.
And by the way, can somebody ask Gary Webb about the United States drug trafficking?
I know.
I mean, how about we go clean up Langley? I think they've got a bunch of coke dealers hanging out
These
in Langley.
neocons act like we're so upstanding, our government is so upstanding that we're willing to root out drug problems based on our strong sense of morality or something. It's retarded. We don't do that without serious self-interest.
Yes. Sorry, Cameron, I cut you off.
Yeah, no, and I actually talked about this in my Substack as well, because the opposition leader, who it seems the CIA is getting behind as the prospective replacement for Maduro, is a woman named Maria Corina Machado. Now, Maria Corina Machado is actually a CIA familiar, as far as I can tell, who has been pushing for regime change in Venezuela for over 20 years, and part of her efforts were funded by the National Endowment for democracy. She also has ties to the Israelis as well. So Dave is right on point in that regard. And this, again, raises real questions about what the hell we're doing. At whose behest are we flirting with the idea of regime change? And remember, I didn't even mention the potential collateral damage in the form of casualties to U.S. forces if they go ashore. That could absolutely happen. Remember that the cartels are very well funded and they have military-grade equipment. And Maduro also has backing from the Russians and also ties to the Chinese. So this is another quagmire that we should absolutely be avoiding. Let's refocus on the border. Let's get control of the illegal immigration problem, which is to the tune of tens of millions inside our country. And let's go to war with the Sinaloa cartel. Let's do that. Let's set aside Maduro and Venezuela.
And this is something of a Trump specific. I mean, we've seen this with world leaders before, but Trump has really ramped up the transactional nature of his relationship with South American governments. So this is from The Guardian. U.S. government records reveal Latin American leaders have spent millions hiring Washington's top lobbyists to push for a laundry list of requests, free trade deals, security assistance, energy investments to be heard by the Trump administration. Since the lead up to Trump's election, Department of Justice records show that at least 10 countries in Latin America and the Caribbean have registered their top officials and envoys as foreign principals under FARA. Under Trump, we've seen a more directly transactional approach to influencing government. The very personal relationships that have developed with the far right in Latin America have given direct access to the White House. I wouldn't say this influence peddling is unprecedented, but the magnitude is. There are reasons that we're doing this, and I think it is a quagmire. We have too many irons in the fire. We could maybe deal with one or two of these situations going on, but collectively, I think that this might spell ruin.
Yeah,
for
not
the United
with
States.
China having their hand around our balls squeezing, and with what they're doing with the precious metals market, what they're doing with the rare earth metals market. Bro, pick a fucking lane.
I know, exactly. Get your last minute super chats into the backlash.net/super chat right here on my YouTube channel at Real Backlash on that YouTube channel. Somebody just messaged and they said you should have talked about Atlas during the Ireland segment. Why? So you could talk about your pot of gold, finding your pot of gold. I'm like, damn.
That's racist.
That would have been really good.
I will not tolerate any anti-Irish or anti-Italian racism on this podcast.
But before we get to super chats, let's talk a little bit about gold.
Okay, let's do it. Let's. I was gonna throw it to LP to see if he had anything to add.
I don't do geopolitics, man. Maduro should have kissed the wall. Sounds like I don't know.
Jeez. Well, yeah. So we got gold is kind of selling. It's funny, by the way. I don't know if I can pull up. Let me pull up the text message. We're gonna do some text message doxing here
with Kenzie.
No, not with Kenzie. With Alex from the PNW Gorilla.
Oh.
Where is it? Is it in here? Oh yeah. So you'll remember that on that episode, I jokingly said, "Hey, why don't you sell your gold and buy Bitcoin?" And look what fucking happened that day. Gold tanked and people rotated.
You need to tell
into
people
Bitcoin.
that you cannot give them financial advice. We're going to get sued.
I cannot give you financial advice. I don't do that.
Just look at his glasses. Do you want to trust this guy? Look at that.
Jeez, it's so bright in here.
Blah.
But anyway, we do have gold and silver. They're cooling off a little bit, but this is not going to be stopping anytime soon. China is definitely remonetizing gold at this point.
Of course.
They're persistently bidding. And the government basically has one way to fix all of its problems, and that is printing more money.
Yeah, of course.
So if you've got money in the US dollar, and you don't want to be fucking poor without a pot to piss in on EBT by the time that your grandkids are your age, you're probably going to want to put a little bit of money into gold and silver, and you can do that with our friends at atlasbullion.com/backlash. They are the internet's premier dealers for gold and silver. They've got subscription plans. You can get signed up as low as $55 a month. You can get gold subscriptions for as low as $200 a month, but you can also call Kenzie at Atlas Bullion and arrange for a bulk order if that's something you like. And by the way, I was on the phone with her earlier, And she told me that she is moving. They're moving their headquarters. I guess they got a new warehouse or something. And so if she's taking a little bit longer to get back to you, it's because they've been extremely busy down there.
It's because she hates you personally, and that's why she's not getting back to you. The audience.
Probably. It's because you're annoying.
Yeah. Stop annoying her.
But anyway, yeah, gold and silver is. I don't think that this bull run is anywhere near over. I'm pretty sure that this is just like the initial signalings that the post 1971 fiat dollar is on the brink of collapse. China's got us by the balls, and you got to protect yourself, protect your wealth. Go to atlasbullion.com.
Let's talk Antelope Hill, too, before we get to Super Chats.
Okay, we can do that, too. Antelope Hill, by the way, they have a brand new book out called Rise of the Reich, which is, I believe that was like official propaganda from the German government back in the day, but they are republishing it because they are fighting to keep history alive against the regime of anti-white censorship and to publish a new generation of dissident, radical, and right-wing researchers, philosophers, polemicists, and writers. They have an eclectic catalog that includes veteran right-wing authors and academics like Kerry Bolton, Dr. Ricardo Duchesne, and Paul Kersey, as well as newer figures like Lord Miles Routledge of Afghanistan, Josh Neal, and Christian Secor, in addition to a long list of original translations and modern reprints of otherwise inaccessible historical works from eras such as fascist Italy, National Socialist Germany, and even medieval Europe. Their original works include groundbreaking investigations into the causes and funding behind transgenderism and the opioid crisis, books on Christian nationalism, and American folktales. Additionally, Antelope Hill contributes to the regeneration of our culture and the rebirth of our family values through their top-quality fiction, including books like Let Them Look West and World Separated, and a collection of beautifully illustrated and wholesome children's books. Whatever your interest is, you're bound to find books that you like at Antelope Hill, all professionally published and with cover art that will grace your bookshelves. So help us and help our people by checking out companies that share our values. Please visit antelopehillpublishing.com today.
Thank you so much, Antelope Hill.
I've done it.
Let's get to some...
You guys don't have a promo code or whatever that you...
I think we're supposed to. There's supposed to be like a 10% discount code.
Yeah. Well, there's a promo code LP, I've heard, for anybody who's wondering at Antelope Hills.
There you go. Use promo code LP. And you'll get 10% off of your purchase. You'll get 50% off. We're giving away 3 books here on the back. No, so... yeah, we've really got to work on that. I do think that there is some sort of a super code for us or whatever. Anyway.
Last chance to get in your Super Chats. We're reading $10 and up. Do you want me to start with my YouTube channel?
If you want to, sure. I was going to say, I think we're going to be slammed with Super Chats tonight, actually.
All right, let's get to it. Don Browning says, awesome guest. Thank you so much.
How much?
$10.
Okay.
Thank you, Don.
Is he one of yours?
He's worth way more than $10, man. Come on.
Dusty Trails, no note. Thank you, Troy. Same. We appreciate it. The Winged Hussar says, I would like to see the citizens from a strong support system for defecting the military and police who are choosing between their livelihood and the right choice. Thoughts? I would like to see the citizens form a strong... I read that incorrectly. Yeah, I mean, there have to be, like LP said, can you imagine the inner conflict you would be experiencing if you weren't a total psychopath, if you were in some kind of enforcement agency in any country in the West right now?
Well, and this is one of the big things we were talking about on the show a couple of months ago when it comes to the border crisis, the ICE thing that's going on is like, nobody wants to discuss or confront how deeply penetrated our military is by the cartels. Mm-hmm. Like, those people are going to be in their, like, do we go against the Mexicans or those are my people type of thing? We've got an issue, I remember, Rebecca, you were even talking about the numbers. I think some base in California and how diverse it was, or was it something like 25%?
25% white.
Right.
I think so. Something like that. Yeah. I can't remember the exact statistics, but we did talk about it.
I had a question for LP because I was up in Vancouver, as you guys remember, earlier in the year.
Vancouver.
And I was up there in Vancouver. That's right. Boy, you ain't lying, man. It's and having lived in Hong Kong, it absolutely reminded me of that. But when I was up in Vancouver, I was at a investment conference, and a lot of the people who were there, they worked in the mining industry, and so they were from Saskatchewan. And I was surprised at the extent to which they were pretty savvy. I mean, a lot of them sounded exactly like us on this program. So I guess my question for you, LP, is up in Canada, and I know it's different province by province, coast by coast, but what do you think it's going to take to really push Canadians over the edge up there? You know, in other words, to get the police or the military to sort of side against the government. What do you think?
I'll tell you, man, I'm not optimistic on that front. The people you talking to, are not the people I've been talking to. Everyone I know in Canada is a retarded shit lib. The boomers are completely a lost cause, like 100%. There's little pockets of people who know what's up, but it's just not the general trend. It's they're behind a lot of places. You know, to answer the super chat question, we need more organizing everywhere. We need more networking. It can be something as simple as the meetup that you guys are doing is like a good start.
Yeah.
To meet people in real life and start to network and stuff like that. I think some places are like more ahead, like Australia. They've been doing a lot of that. Canada, there are guys doing that. There's, I don't know if you guys know Ferryman and Jeremy Mackenzie. Like there are guys doing that, but I'm just, I don't know, man. It's, I don't know.
Yeah, by the way, that meetup Monday at Prairie Pavilion in Coeur d'Alene. If you Google Las Brasas Tacos, it'll take you right there.
Oh, it's Las Brasas?
Yeah, they've got the
best
tacos, man.
yeah.
So yeah, we'll be there at 5 p.m. until we close it down.
All right.
So just plugging that one more time. Make sure you come out, especially if you're in Lake Spokane.
Please don't murder us. This is Thunderstorm. Fake left and right false dichotomy is collapsing under the pressures of reality as the so-called third position rises from former left, right, can't buy class, and will find themselves followed.
Sorry, I'm waving at my daughter.
Hi.
Hi.
That's true. The dichotomy is collapsing.
Time?
Okay. Fake left, right, false dichotomy is collapsing under the pressures of reality as the so-called third position rises former left, right. The former left, right can't buy class and will find themselves followed. Is it my cadence?
I think it's your cadence. Yeah. I think you need more
retarded?
practice. You haven't been doing this. Yeah, I've at least been doing this for a year.
Not from Cat Respector, is it?
Cat Respector.
We have a guy on my channel who sends these like he's having a stroke every time.
Like
he writes
incoherent, yeah. We got a guy like that. Thank you for that, Thunderstorm. General Grievance. Can't watch live, but just wanted to say good morning. What does
Where
this
the
say?
hell are you based that it's morning?
I don't know.
Russia?
Isn't it
China?
a morning in London right now?
India.
No.
It's morning in India right now.
All right, this is Troy.
It's morning where I am. What are you talking about? Morning in Central Europe.
Yeah, true.
Troy says, seems like a psyop. Hard to believe EBT enjoyers are making plans for the future. That is true. They do have famously poor future orientation. That part of their brain just does not exist. Mm-mm. All right, I'm good over here.
I just wanted to say one thing about that last. I think I understood what he was saying about the third choice or something. There was a very compelling discussion. I frankly thought it was one of the more enlightening discussions I've seen in political theory, if you will, for a long, long time, between Alexander Dugin and Nick Land. I highly recommend everybody check that out. But what was remarkable about it is that both Nick Land and Alexander Dugin, and they have very different views and a very different sort of logical framework that informs that view. But both of them, so Dugin calls it the fourth political theory, and Nick Land calls it the summit. Both of them basically arrived at the same conclusion, namely that the structure of governance that we've experienced more or less since the Enlightenment, which obviously favors the sort of Whiggish, neoliberal, this sort of democratic welfare state that we've got, that system's over. That it's not so much that it's imploding, it is imploding, but that we are now entering into some kind of new political environment. Now, I have been talking about this since the inception of the podcast, right? I call it succession. But all of that is to say that what is very important for all of you to do is to sort of let go of the Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Charlie Kirk framework because it doesn't work anymore. It's broken, and we're going to have to reorganize politically. We're going to have to overhaul constitutional forms of government. That's more or less what Nick Land and Alexander Dugin were getting at. That's where we're headed. And that's what's unfolding. That's what's erupting in the street across the Western world. And I'll add one more thing to this. And Dave actually sent me this tweet, in part because we were talking about the collapse of the Fifth Republic, which is something we've been talking about for a long time on the show. It hasn't gotten much play in the United States, but a descendant of the Bourbon kings in France publicly has stated that he supports reinstituting the monarchy in France and putting an end to the Fifth Republic. Now, I'm not suggesting that that's exactly where they're going to go. But what I am saying is that this sort of legacy politics, as we understood it, that's over. And whether you call it succession or you call it the summit or the fourth political theory, this is the direction we are headed. And that is not the apocalypse for the West. It's not the end. It's going to be the emergence of something new. And what I think is going to happen is it will be the reaffirmation of Christendom in some way, shape, or form with some kind of new political structure or theory. That's where we're headed. So very enlightening question. And check out that debate between Nick Land and Alexander Dugin. I highly recommend it.
Good Lord, look at that man.
Oh, he's gorgeous. No homo.
What a beautiful man.
No
That's
homo.
an aristocrat right there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he is the direct, that is Louis Alphonse de Bourbon. He is the direct descendant of Saint Louis IX, who burned every single copy of the Talmud in Paris.
Oh, wow.
So I have some hope for France. Maybe they can pull their head out
Yeah,
of their
that
ass.
guy should be leading an entire country.
That
Look at
would
that.
be nice.
Oh, wait, General Grievance, it was Good Morning Copers.
That's my catchphrase for my
okay,
show.
that makes more sense. Sorry about that.
Very nice. Starting over on Entropy, I'm going to have to do a refresh because this thing, it was going and then it stopped. So anyway.
Entropy sucks.
It's wonderful, and I'm very thankful that we have it. I don't know what you're talking about. Queensboro Bridge Enjoyer sent $10.02. As a thought experiment, imagine Antifa defeats the U.S. government and takes power. After an intense struggle session, the local commissar forces Blonde to keep streaming. As punishment, her only co-host options are Will Stansel and Jack Cruz. Who does she pick? Yes, it do be like that, Mrs. Blonde.
Will Stansel, because that would make for hilarious content. And I know that our audience has all seen it, but if you're not watching the Emily Yukas series on Will Stansel, it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. It's going mega viral. We're having her on in November as well.
Amazing. Nice. You know, it's incredible that her little Will Stansel show got like 1 million views.
Yeah.
And it's like, go back and look at the numbers for like The Simpsons when it was on TV.
Oh, yeah.
It's pulling just as many viewers as network TV shows that had like a huge staff, a promotion marketing department. She spent like $137 on Sora AI.
Emily Yukas is also Mensa.
Is she?
Yeah.
Based.
Jinx.
I love Emily.
Oh,
I'd be a little bit careful about comparing Twitter impressions to actual TV ratings.
Yeah.
Right. But still,
we love Will Stansel.
Nevertheless, it do be like
It's a high IQ point there.
Yes, it do be
high
like
IQ
that.
point.
Unreconstructed Yeoman sent $10. Cameron, right is an irrelevant term. We are becoming. We are white nationalist. Dave, look at my based spaghetti nigger in the mainstream Republican politics who's clearly more North African than he is Italian. Say based things off camera and then resign for it.
That is so true.
Cameron, almost audible facepalm.
You guys really cut through it. That must have hurt. Are your feelings hurt? Because that person is totally right.
I don't have feelings.
I was thinking it a little bit.
It's Ma'am sent $10. LP, have you recovered from Monday's TwitchCon fallout yet? The crowd's reaction seemed like its own kind of horror show. Makes you wonder if empathy got left behind in the merch line.
What is this? I just saw a few tweets on it.
I did a little segment on this Twitch streamer who got assaulted. Some guy walked up and like grabbed her and kissed her at a meet and greet. And everyone in the chat was like, good, she deserves it, the stupid whore. And I like crashed out of that. I was like, come on, guys. I clipped it and put it on the YouTube channel, and 99% of the comments are also like that. So I've just I give up. I don't know. It is what it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she is a stupid whore.
Was she a stupid whore? That's the right
I don't
question.
really know her, but some people said no. Some people said she's not really.
Wait, somebody just came up and kissed her?
Yeah.
Walk it off, girl. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Isn't that like rape?
Okay, all right, come on.
I think it's more the issue at hand was more the security problems. She could have got stabbed. Is kind of like what it was.
But she didn't.
Right?
Instead, she got a kiss on the lips. It just
What if they had herpes?
Everybody has oral herpes.
I don't.
You wouldn't know. 90% of the population.
What do you mean
has
you
it.
wouldn't know?
You wouldn't know.
I don't have it. I've never had a cold sore.
It doesn't matter. Most people.
Idiosyncratic, Dave.
Most people. This is true. Most people get it when they're young children, HSV1, and
Dear Lord,
they never have an outbreak.
If you can hear me, send the meteor now. You can or Putin. If you can hear me.
Are you even listening to me? They get it when they're children from kissing grandparents and stuff.
Or they get it at a Matitza Buffet,
No, that's the other kind of herpes.
Oh my God.
Oh, good Lord.
Anyway, yeah.
Now everyone's going to think I have herpes. Thanks a lot, Dave.
You're welcome. Queensboro Bridge Enjoyer sent $10. Speaking of MLK, many people are saying that a future episode on this topic would be interesting. In particular, the 1983 filibuster of a MLK holiday bill would be a great place to focus. Senator Helms read the work of Sam Francis on the Senate floor, which is how a lot of MLK info got out. Get the fuck out of here, really? I did not know that. Sam Francis, R.I.P., based. Very good. We've also got Get Your Hands Off Me, You Dang Dirty Ape, sent $10. How much can the U.S. use the spoils of war with the drug cartels to pay off the national debt?
They won't.
$37 trillion.
Yeah.
I don't think that.
I don't think we're gonna. Yeah. No.
I don't think we're gonna get that.
Well, the assumption into that question is that they're not already plundering those coffers. Certainly, people have suggested that the CIA has dipped its ugly hands in that abyss. I don't know. It's an interesting question to be sure. But my guess is it's not enough. It's not enough to pay for EBT cards for everybody.
Very true. And so we've got a very nice $25 super chat from Nisorazak. Is that how I say this? I'm not sure. It said, "Hi, finally caught you live. First time ever super chat. Sorry, blonde, but I have a Bitcoin and gold related question. I've checked out your recommended sellers for both, but neither cater to Canada." Then he sent another $25 super chat saying, "Could you recommend Bitcoin gold sellers to Canada? I'm also looking for a cold storage wallet. Thanks." Well, as a matter of fact, I'd love to answer this question. For Bitcoin in Canada, you want to go to Bull Bitcoin, bullbitcoin.com. They're based in Canada.
What is this face?
Since when is Bitcoin like a national? It's on the internet. What do you mean you need a Canadian seller? I don't even.
Well, no, I mean it's true. So like with Strike Bitcoin, River Bitcoin, and like Bitfinex, they are not available in Canada. You can't get on the exchanges in Canada. So
is Coinbase like a dirty word or what?
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
I got banned from Coinbase.
Yeah, no.
And Gemini.
Fuck Coinbase. And so
for donating money to Andrew Anglin.
So Bull
Immediate ban.
Bitcoin is who you want to go to. Very reputable company. They're awesome. They use Lightning and Liquid as well as on chain. Highly recommend them. When it comes to your gold, actually, I've got a recommendation there from Kenzie because let's see, they can't import from Atlas Bullion to Canada. It's just. You're going to get hit with fines. It's going to be a real problem. But Kitco is a Canadian company, and they sell gold and silver. And so I believe they're based in Melbourne, maybe? I'm not sure. But
Are these people giving us any money?
They're not giving us any money, but we're helping out a friend here, okay? They add some questions. Kitco is a Canadian-based gold company. You can buy from them. And then as far as getting a hardware wallet, you do want to use our link for the Blockstream Jade Plus. You can find that link on our website under affiliate links, Bitcoin hardware. That's where you want to go. And so I think I have successfully answered those questions, which I wanted to answer. Thank you for asking that question.
LP, what are your thoughts on Bitcoin?
Don't ask. I use Coinbase. I didn't know. I use Coinbase. I didn't know that was bad.
Bro, get out of my house.
I'm hearing this for the first
Get out of my house.
I'm hearing this for the
Dude,
first
I'm
time.
a no coin normie, according to Jack Cruz, and even I know not to use Coinbase.
Yeah, Coinbase is.
As soon as I got banned on Coinbase and I tweeted about it, everyone's like, why the fuck were you on Coinbase, you
Do
stupid
they,
bitch?
when they ban you, do you lose your money?
No.
No,
but it was a
Because I'm worried now. Somebody's gonna send them this clip and be like, ban that guy.
it was a whole thing to get my money out though.
Yeah.
From Gemini, actually.
Yeah. I mean, no, you don't want to. If you live in America and you want to have Bitcoin, use River Bitcoin. We've got the hat down there. There's an affiliate link on our website. River Bitcoin is very based and awesome. And the owner, Alexander Leishman, very, very good guy. Correct opinions about 9/11. Very good.
Okay.
The Orthodoxer sent $10 just here to say that Dave is awesome. Love you,
Hey.
man. And LP, I saw Frank Stone was on Xbox Game Pass. I pay nothing for it. Is it worth it?
Sure. If you get it for free, sure. Have a playthrough. It's not a very good game, but free is about the right price.
Dave, I saw a comment about you in the live chat and it said,
geez.
Dave is like licorice. You don't want to eat it at first because it's gross, but then eventually you're like, okay, I'll eat more. Dave, yeah, I think that's Dave. You wear people down, and I think that's great.
See, this is the kind of feedback that I want. I had too much positive comments about the video I put out yesterday.
That's a positive comment.
Okay. Domestic Tourist sent $25. Good afternoon, Copers. Would love to see my boy Andrew Edwards on the Backlash. Phenomenal author. And sorry I called you a baby that one time, LP. Unban me, please.
I'll think about it.
He'll think about it. Dr. Sean McGuire sent $25. Hi, LP. It's Dr. Sean again. I feel like you and I had a real breakthrough on our last call-in appointment. Keep facing up to your fears and remember, you are stronger than that coaxial cable, and it's not your fault.
I told them last night. This is like a meme. I was telling them at dinner. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Thank you for that.
That your dad used to beat you with coax
It happened.
cable.
That was a one-time thing. That was a one-time.
Didn't you say you deserved it though?
No, I never said that. I definitely did not.
Oh my gosh. And here's the question we've all been waiting for, friends. It's Book Track Grooves who sent $10. I, Hypocrite, have you ever ridden a horse?
I have when I was younger. It's been a long time, but yes, actually, my uncle and my aunt and uncle had a farm, and they had horses. And he's also a bass player, a jazz player. My uncle
wow.
at the farmer, so they're pretty cool. And then I think I've been to like one of those like places where you go on the trail, you pay to go on a horse ride or whatever one time too. So yes, technically.
Nice. Well, that's good. Riding a horse is good. The rest of the super chat says Norway swept Israel aside 5-0 as Haaland scores hat trick in soccer. Rebecca, make some Irish stew for the guys.
Okay.
1010 would approve.
Well, I mean,
would
it's
eat.
just regular stew and you put Guinness in it, right?
I guess. We're definitely getting into that. My wife has been making stews
Oh, it's
recently.
stew
and
season.
It is stew season.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love it. Ortho Bro sent $10. I'm jealous of LP being a high IQ American. I wish I could pledge allegiance to an Israel-first ghetto-ridden nation. Mensa doesn't check if you know how to use a computer or if you have a floppy mic stand.
Why are you guys so mean?
First of all, something people like to do is impersonate other people with power chat, and so like that might not even be the real Orthodoxers. People are like trying to get me mad at him. But I have noticed though, because I have a $3 minimum, and Orthodoxer always sends $3 super chats to me. Maybe I need to raise it to 10.
You should.
If he's good, if he's willing to do that, maybe I've been selling myself short.
Yeah, I think so. That's funny. You've got a good crowd. You've got a good crowd.
I do.
Robert sent $50. Thank you for the big super chat. Blonde, say the word pagan or vague. Do I detect an accent? Even the newly minted genius American Chad sounds pure. Are you telling me I survived a simp duel for a foreign spy? I slapped a nigga in the face with a glove, for God's sake. Great guess.
Okay, it's a Midwestern thing. I have been told I say pagan, bagel, and veg. Weird.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
That's
I grew up in St.
Bagel?
Louis. Bagel.
It's a bagel.
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 Wrong.
I don't know what to tell you here. I can't do it the correct way. However, they
Did
do
they say-
use Midwestern American dialects to teach people English in foreign countries because apparently it is the purest. of all the
outta
dialects.
here. No
I don't want to hear it
way.
from you, you filthy wop.
Hey, listen. I'm just saying, it's not the right one.
No chuckles from you, you Mick. Both of you, get out of here.
He's a dual
I'm
citizen.
mostly Anglo. Okay.
Whatever. Cameron is the only person that is racially pure enough to be on this show.
23andMe results immediately.
Lyndon Perry's a pretty Anglo name.
That's true.
But my grandpa on my mom's side, he absconded with he had an affair with an Irish woman and got her pregnant. And he wrote in his memoirs that the fact that she was Irish was like more of a scandal than the fact that he had an affair and got her pregnant.
Was he married?
Yes. And then he had, they had some money, but he was like disowned and he had to come to Canada and start over completely.
That's your family's origin story?
That's on my mom's side.
Oh.
I mean, listen, Mom, Dad, I know you're watching. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't your marriage considered interracial in 1976? You know, an Irish guy getting married to an Italian guy was kind of a no-no,
Yeah.
if memory serves. I wasn't around back then, but they were. They would know.
You weren't?
Send me a text. I don't know.
Dave, shut up.
Shut up about it. Okay. Hamilton, 88, sent $10. Love all of you guys. LP, always hilarious. Cameron, always right. Have you guys seen that Murdoch is doing a new AMA? We have the motion. White unity at every opportunity, not one step back.
Oh,
We're
man,
doing-
if we got more Stancil and
Bro, imagine
Murdoch.
a Murdoch, Will Stancil crossover show. That would be stellar.
Emily Yukas, can you make that happen?
Bro, that'd be funny.
I love Murdoch. I'm stoked about the fact that they're still around in any capacity at all.
And we have no idea who they are.
I think they had pretty good OPSEC.
Yeah.
So funny.
What if we found out it was actually Emily Yukas?
What if we found out it was like an Indian?
Oh, no. Don't
That
ruin
would be
my
the
day.
ultimate irony. Vlad sent $10. Rioting does nothing. They will riot for the weekend, then the government shuts down till it passes. Then it's back to the African Arab rapists and their handlers opening the gates. Until the IRA gets back to it, there will be more of the same. Well, listen, I think rioting does a little bit. I mean, at least it did in America when the George Floyd riot.
You can't help it. That just came out of you.
Stop it. I'm not even drinking. I don't know. I think rioting has an impact for sure. I don't know if it's good or advisable necessarily.
It's dangerous. We saw the same thing happen in the UK after that guy stabbed those 3 little girls, which is what they ended up making that adolescence thing about. But a lot of those people ended up in jail in the UK, and that was there was a big civil war on the right about should you encourage this or not, because a lot of people did end up in jail. Some of these Irish people are going to end up in jail. I sent you a clip, we didn't watch it, but there's a citizen journalist, a guy with a phone was taking footage, and the police came up and confiscated his devices.
This one? No, that was Ezra Levant.
Yeah, presumably
This one?
that one. Yeah, presumably they want to look through the footage for people to arrest, right?
Yeah, here, let's take a look at this
We're
clip.
standing up, Irish people standing up for. I don't need your services now, if you don't mind. What's this? What's this?
Gardaí investigating a criminal damage act.
You're alive.
Official patrol vehicle. Yes,
Maybe they aren't so conflicted.
Yeah.
It is believed that your electronic devices contain evidence pertinent to that investigation, so it's now being seized under Section 7 of the
Look at this, guys. Look at this. You're live.
Now, if you fail
You're
to
live.
comply with
Can
this
I get your
directive,
number?
Yeah, it's Lima 63. Tony O'Connell, Ballyfermot Guard Station. If you fail to comply with my order, you will be arrested for an offence.
Do you need to get a warrant for that?
No, I don't.
You don't?
Section 19 of the Criminal Justice Public Order Act. You will be arrested.
No warrant.
Unless you surrender that device now.
I'll be arrested if I think.
You'll be arrested for.
Can I ring my solicitor?
You can ring if you fail to comply with the direction. You'll be arrested, and you can make a phone call from the station.
Here we go. Here we go.
It's now being seized. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Thank you very much.
Good Lord.
So
Thank you.
I love the optics of rioting in the sense that it sends a message that I fully support, but it's a dangerous game.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have women, children, maybe not. Maybe this is like a young man's game or something. I don't know.
It's a tough call.
Well, I would say, so Robert Cialdini, who's a guy I mention all the time, he wrote Influence, Persuasion. I highly recommend his books. He says, and he's right, what's focal is not what's causal. This is not about the protests, right? The protests historically don't work, which I think is the point that you guys are making. For the most part, that's true. But this is not about that, right? Ultimately, these people that are protesting, as I said earlier, why are they out there? They're out there because they believe in the democratic process. They believe that they can influence government to change its course. That's not going to happen. When protests transition to mass mobilization or into some kind of a movement, and by the way, there is evidence that that's happening in the United Kingdom. I think it is happening all over the West. It's primarily online, but that doesn't make it, impotent. It doesn't make it any less powerful, but it hasn't gotten to that next stage yet, in part because there's still some degree of residual trust in the government. However, as these protests continue and nothing does change, and the underlying causes only get worse, and we know that they will, right? There's still migrants coming into the United Kingdom and Ireland. There will be a lot more violence against Irish people, against English, so forth and so on. There will be more rape gangs, so forth and so on. That means that you're going to get an explosion. That's where we're headed. And that's a nonlinear equation, right? You don't sort of trend into that. You hit a wall when the population has had enough. I'm simply suggesting that the protests are evidence that we're getting closer to the point where we've had enough.
Yeah, I think you're right. By the way, we do have a verdict. In 1976, it was not considered interracial for an Irish man to marry an Italian girl. But when the Italian girl used Prego instead of making homemade gravy, that was considered a disgrace. Thanks, Mom.
I like your parents already.
They're very cool.
They're great. We need to have my dad on the show sometime.
Oh,
I think
totally.
it'd be funny. Thomas Moore sent $11. The reason why the Irish police would never join the people, because increasingly the Irish police have become a graduate-based police force modeled on the English police force model. They used to come from the working class. Now it's contempt.
Yeah.
It's the same shit in America, too. This federalizing of the police. It used to be that you'd live in a neighborhood, the Italians had their own police,
and then
the
you'd
Irish
want to
had their own
contribute
police.
to the
right.
Yeah,
You'd have a beat cop that would go around and he'd actually know everybody. Nowadays we get the Israelis training all of our
Our
short. They have limits on how tall you can be. In the police force now, by the way, they make it so that short people become cops, and they've all got Napoleon complexes and.
How do you know that, Dave?
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, I don't mean to belabor the point here, but this is another statement that's self-evidently false, and it's false because you're attributing to people logic. People do not make decisions based on logic. They make decisions based on emotion and based on shifts in power dynamics. You better believe that if the government runs out of money, or its legitimacy continues to unwind, continues to unravel, and more people support the protesters, that's when you're going to start to see police switch sides. This is not about ideology, okay? This is about power, and this is about the emotional swings of the crowd. All of that, in my view, is trending in our direction, in part for reasons that have nothing to do with politics, because we're running out of money, right? Because we can't afford to subsidize the welfare state. We can't afford to pay the police, so forth and so on. That is ultimately what's going to cause these people to switch sides, not an ideological shift, right? Mm-hmm. Police, army, whomever, they want to get paid, and they want to work for whichever side is going to win. That's what this is about.
True. We've got a nice super chat from James Cassatelli, who sent $10 on the Backlash YouTube channel. Got a little motion over there now. As a half Irish, half Italian American myself, I find Rebecca's hatred of me very attractive.
Stop getting turned on by me yelling at you.
Yojimbo Rockford sent $10 on Rumble. I think LP spurging out on his audience is funnier than Fuentes spurging out on his audience. LP brings the venomous vitriol.
I get really angry sometimes.
You're just hanging out. Everybody in the group in the chat was like, "Why does he look so glum? Is he sad?"
Oh, really?
Yeah, our people are all like, "Oh, he looks sad."
Are you sad?
No, I didn't.
Because of your childhood trauma. Do you want to talk about it?
I reject the accusations, the allegations. I'm not sad at all. But yeah, like once every 6
Canadian,
weeks, I just
can't be
fucking
sad.
lose it, and I just start screaming at my chat.
That's funny. Let's see. Thomas Moore sent $11. Interesting that IH mentioned the grooming gangs as the Labor Party is virtually imploding because each successive report is finding it increasingly difficult to avoid an ethnic element, and ministers can't choose between PC and reality.
Yeah.
Thomas Moore, I'm liking your super chats tonight. Speaking of berating your audience, like this guy usually gets into arguments with us and we go like back and forth at the very end of the show.
Which is great because you just keep sending
He
money.
keeps sending us money, which we appreciate so much. But tonight we're on the same page. I'm really look. See, there it is. There it is. We got one more. Jamal sent $10. It do be like that, Mr. Stansel. we actually
It do be like that
hold on.
sometimes.
We've got a. He sent in the super chat as I was reading. So hold on. We gotta. See, there it is. Boom. Jamal, $10. Yo Jimbo Rockford sent $15. Really enjoyed the special episode on dispensationalism, Dave. Y'all articulated the case better than I do and gave me lots of food for thought. Great work. You're welcome.
You guys need to go back to berating him. It's disrupting the dynamic of the show.
You have no idea. My ego is just no. Radicalized by reality sent $50.
Whoa.
Thank you for the big super chat. Hey guys, networking is desperately needed on the dissident right. I'll be visiting family in the CDA area next month. It would be great to have another meetup while I'm there. Sending my gross sales from Idaho Tallow in super chat. More to come. I don't understand what that means. Sending my gross sales from Idaho.
He's just been buying from Idaho Tallow a bunch. Yeah, sure. Shoot us an email.
Absolutely. Info@thebacklash.net if you want to get in touch with us offline or online or whatever the heck. And if you want to send us some snail mail, by the way, you know, some people like to do that. You can put a check in the mail and send it to P.O. Box 853, Post Falls, Idaho 83877. Glam Drink sent $10. Everybody was so awkward with that silence.
I
It's
know.
so funny. Come on, you sons of Goyim. Do you want to live forever?
Is that from Starship Troopers?
That's Murdoch.
That's funny.
But originally from Starship Troopers.
Appropriate.
Yep.
Actually, it's from Conan. Conan
the
Barbarian?
Destroyer, I believe. I'm
No,
not sure.
it's from Starship Troopers.
Do you maggots want to live forever?
He says, "Come on, you apes, do you want to live forever?"
yeah.
I think that comes from the army because Heinlein was in the army during the Second War. I think that's where it comes from.
They definitely say, "Do you want to live forever?" in Conan. Or I think the line is, "Do you really want to live forever?"
Got it. Nice. Good super chat. Good.
That is that. I think. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. The first Conan, though, aren't you? where he's almost struck down. Anyway, whatever. It doesn't matter. I think you're right.
All right. Moving on from the pop culture references, Book Track. Look at how beautiful the sunset has been in here, by the way. It's very nice. Book Track Roof sent $10. Money must defeat money. I'll try to help these Irish parties and do your research and pray about it. I, Hypocrite, get the aristocratic utensil on your show.
I know the aristocratic utensil.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, we should get him on here.
We'll make it happen.
Every man watching this show, by the way, now that you mentioned Conan, needs to watch at least the first 10 minutes of that film. It's like the most masculine, testosterone-driven 10 minutes you'll ever see. Go watch it.
Nice. We'll have to do that. By the way, I just learned this at dinner the other night with the PNW Gorilla. Apparently, putting yourself, like going out with other men and putting yourself into a competitive situation raises your testosterone.
I told you that.
Yeah, you told me
Yeah, that
I
is
didn't
correct.
believe it. That's incredible.
Yes.
It's true.
Because competitive environments mimic sexual competition, like beating out other men for sex with
As
fertile
opposed to
women.
beating off other men.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want to do the latter.
No, that won't raise your testosterone as
No.
far as I know. Yeah.
Definitely not. Thomas Moore sent $11 for all of Hollywood's left-leaning. How come not a single Hollywood film depicts the brutality of the U.S. military during the mid-19th century? Cam brought up the war against Mexico, but there was war against the Comanche, too.
I would submit that the brutality was not one-sided, right? Actually, there were a lot of films made about the Indian Wars. A lot of them. Northwest Passage is an example if you go back and watch that film. But a lot of the John Wayne films were about the Apaches, and the Apaches were brutal. They were some of the most vicious people we've ever fought. And I would add, you hear this a lot from the left, right? They try to fetishize Native Americans and pretend as though these people were sort of like the originals. The fact of the matter is, we defined our identity as people beginning with King Philip's War, which happened in the 17th century, in which basically the New England colonies had to defend themselves against the Iroquois nation and among other Amerindian groups. We have defined ourselves by conquering and defeating extremely barbaric, cruel, and hostile peoples that originally occupied North America. This notion that these people were living in some kind of a utopia is absolutely absurd. And the historic evidence substantiating my claim is actually pretty well drawn. We have a lot of archaeological evidence that suggests cannibalism, slavery, of a very large scale,
Human
especially
sacrifice.
south down to Mesoamerica. So this is a total myth. It's actually very common in Canada too. I know LP. I'm sure you're
Human
well versed.
sacrifice?
Everybody apologizes for the Amerindians in Canada.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous.
And I've definitely seen like depictions in television and film more modern than the John Wayne stuff, where it is showing kind of like, oh, the white man was so cruel to the Indians. And I hate it. I roll my eyes when I see that.
Yeah.
So I can't think of any good examples off the top of my head, but they definitely have done that.
Devin Stack made a good stream about this a few months ago.
Dances with Wolves. The whole point of that film, basically to illustrate the brutality of white Europeans against the peaceful indigenous. And like I said, that's not an accurate picture.
In Last of the Mohicans, they did have that burning at the stake scene.
Yeah.
They showed some of the brutality of the Indians.
What was that American, there was that movie, or it was like a little mini series on Netflix about, you know what I'm talking about? American Primeval.
Yeah, that one's actually kind of not bad.
Yeah, but it turned out that it wasn't actually Indians. It was Mormons dressed up as Indians taking scalps.
Yes, but they did show the Indians being savages too. Yeah, I kind of like that one. It was just kind of fun to watch because it was so violent.
Yeah, we love the Mormons. We got a lot of Mormon viewers. My neighbors are all Mormon. We love our Mormons.
Hey, Kai.
Hey, Kai. What's up? Sam Parker,
Oh,
too.
yeah, Sam Parker.
Gonna out him. Jake Tungseth sent $10. Give LP a lecture on how to pronounce Spokane and Coeur d'Alene.
It's tough.
What? Okay, let's hear it.
Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, Coeur d'Alene.
Where is the...
Ma coeur.
No. Coeur d'Alene.
Ma coeur.
Oh, jeez. There's going to be a riot outside my house later tonight.
I think he's got it. I think he nailed it.
Yeah, totally. Nailed it.
Thomas Moore sent $11. There's a poll in France that shows 88% of the French population no longer believes in democracy, and 71% would prefer a strong absolute leader to fix France's woes. Also saw a documentary on Paris suburbs. It's how you imagine it looks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was bad the last time I was there. I remember...
and the banlieues. Yeah, they call them banlieues. Go back and watch our episode 2 weeks ago, whoever sent that super chat. We talk about France in some detail. Yeah, that place, look, the Fifth Republic is over. And the good thing about the French population is when they've had enough, they burn down your favorite restaurant, which is what they did to Macron a couple of years ago.
Nice. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I spent some significant time in France, a couple of months, and it's amazing to hear the history. They had to like widen the streets because they would riot so often. You know. Anyway, it's a whole thing.
Banlieue 13, also a good action movie.
We did that. Poland, France, we did that. The Orthodoxer sent $10. LP, I just found out my 17, soon to be 18-year-old virgin ortho trad wife has been cheating on me with a far-right influencer, Ortho Chud Maxer. Yeah. Am I cooked?
That's definitely not the Orthodoxer. You're cooked and chopped and it's over, buddy.
Bro, chopped. Chopped huzz. You know what chopped huzz is?
Huzz is hose, right?
Yeah.
So ugly hose.
Yeah, exactly. I learned that one from Vince James's son. Chopped huzz. The kids, they're going to be okay. It'll be fine. Plainly based person sent $10. What is Fuentes' ideology? Is he tradcath? If so, that means brownoids win. Fuck you. I'm finding Nick to be a disingenuous subversive who will not help the white race. He even seems to be fine with certain Jews as well. Best of luck, Groypers and followers. First of all, Nick is not a tradcath. He's just Catholic. And his ideology is America first. And this is a totally disingenuous argument that was paid for by a Jew. So thank you for
I had that exact same super chat yesterday on my show.
Because it's a legitimate question.
It's not a question.
We need to talk about more, about universalism in Catholicism. I mean, it's a problem.
True.
You need to go back and watch the podcast that I did yesterday. Maybe you'll learn something.
EMJ, for all of his faults.
EMJ is senile.
Can you let me get a word in?
We need to have American reform on the channel.
What about the Pope? If
yeah,
not
what about
EMJ?
Come on.
La 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 la.
Listen, EMJ is an expert on Catholicism. He is.
He's chopped.
Yes, I know. But it could be argued that his analysis of Catholicism is pure.
No, it's not. American Reform has done all the legwork. He's got the documents. Go follow American Reform on X. He's got a Substack. He's got all the documents. Everybody's wrong. He's right. Go listen to American Reformer. That's all I got to say. I'll pull him up on the screen too. Let's see. American.
I am ready for race-first Catholicism.
Yeah,
How do we do that?
Go read American Reform, okay? It's americanreform.substack.com. He does nothing but, if you go to his media, all he does is post these quotes one after another about Zionism, about racism, and, he lays it out. So you got to go follow American Reform. Anybody telling you that Catholicism is, gay and brown is dumb. So, anyway. Tiger Shark sent $25. We Europeans in the USA must collectivize fast. What a challenge. Further, more Americans need to get out of the dollar, yet they are so hard to convince. You guys are heroes on the front lines. LP, good to see you. Hail our people.
We are heroes.
Thank you.
Did they call you a Mensa Chad, LP? Did I hear?
Somebody might have. I am in Mensa, so it would be technically correct.
Copyright that one. Mensa Chad. I like it.
Based. When is Mensa going to get tagged as an extremist organization for just having smart people?
I joined because I saw Sam Hyde do it, and I thought, man, that'd be such a good flex for when people call me retarded on the internet.
Have you seen my Mensa membership?
Yeah. I literally keep my card on my desk for when if it's somebody in the chat, I say, hey buddy, you got one of these?
That's
not
good.
So fast.
Thomas Morrison, $11. Reply to Cam. The 20th century is defined by the fear of one class falling into another. It overrides hunger. It overrides money. It's why the university graduate police officers would sooner kill WC civilians if they aren't paid rather than join. What's a WC civilian?
White Christian?
Oh, yeah, okay. That makes sense. We've got a few.
The Marxists gave it a shot in the 19th century. They tried to mobilize by class. Didn't work. Took nationalism.
Yeah.
Nationalism it's the ethnos. It's your identity. It transcends politics and is the most powerful political force there is. Classism hasn't worked all that well because it is so inferior to national identity. So it's actually the opposite.
Based. Thomas Moore sent another $11. I was actually talking about in reference to the mid-century Western. For example, the Oregon Trail 1959 does not actually feature the British, despite Oregon being fought over by the two economically. UK abandoned it because of sheer U.S. aggression. I don't know enough.
I haven't seen it. Oregon, what did he call the film?
Oregon Trail 1959. That's when it came out. I haven't seen that movie. And Thomas Moore with another $11 super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. The U.S. Comanche Wars were so insanely brutal, the mid-century Westerns couldn't adapt the conflict. And to this date, the Comanche have not been in a single Hollywood film, with the exception of the Predator sequel, Prey. That's good. See,
I will just say that probably the greatest Western ever made is called The Searchers. It's another John Ford film, and it does go in depth about what happened to white people who were kidnapped and captured by Indians, and what exactly happened. A lot of them became savages, and they never came back. I mean, it's a very harrowing, compelling, historically founded story. So if you haven't seen it, The Searchers, John Ford.
Nice. And I think that does it for Super Chat. I've got one more place I got to go check. Hold on.
Let me check my YouTube channel again.
Yeah, we got to just like hit the refresh button, make sure it's all there. I have to, nobody sent any Bitcoin.
All right, we're good over here.
Yep, we're good. We've got a big guest coming on the show this Monday. Do you know about this? Are you aware of this? My final pick for the month?
No.
Mary Fagan Keene.
Oh, that's right. I did know about this.
Direct blood relation to Mary Fagan, the 14-year-old girl who was raped to death by Leo Frank, owner of the National Pencil Factory, which precipitated the founding of the Anti-Defamation League. Yeah, and it's going to be incredible. So make sure that you put it on your calendars and tune in, because this poor woman and her family, imagine the chutzpah to found an organization
based on your murderous
to harass a family and re-victimize them, and it's gone on for over 100 years. So we're going to be getting a little bit of the truth about what happened at the National Pencil Factory. So do tune in on Monday. It's going to be a big show.
Thank you so much for joining us, LP. Where can people find you?
I'm a Hypocrite on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, you probably have seen me. You probably have me blocked if you're on Twitter. And I do a show on YouTube called The Daily Cope. So you can look that up or go to like my link space there on the Twitter account, and it's all there. I Hypocrite, Daily Cope, LP Original G.
Nice.
All right, cool. It was so fun to have you on. Thank you for joining us, Cameron, Dave, LP. We will see you on Monday.